Hello everyone, this is Top Romance Stories. Before watching the video, please take 3 seconds to like the video and subscribe to the channel. This will give me more motivation to create more high-quality videos. Thank you all very much, and I wish you a wonderful day. The story begins on a quiet yet tense evening at the Duke of Qian Yuan's mansion. The dim moonlight shone down on the moss-covered green stone steps, and the night wind swept gently over the gloomy roof tiles. In front of the main room's door, 2 servants stood guard. The male servant, a scrawny figure, let out a long yawn, looking both lazy and tired. The female servant beside him had a tense expression. She immediately raised her hand and slapped him hard on the head, her voice a whisper but stern. No dozing off. Tomorrow is the grand wedding. Nothing can go wrong. Tonight, in the flickering light, the girl's eyes glinted with a mix of fear and determination, her brows furrowed and sweat beading on her forehead. In her heart, she was screaming, especially, "We can't let the young miss run away again." She clenched her hands into fists, her nails digging in her flesh until her knuckles turned white. The corner of her mouth twitched, as if recalling the many times their young miss had tried to escape and been caught. Just then, the lantern in the male servant's hand suddenly flared up abnormally, and a cold gust of wind blew through, making the flame flicker. The female servant shivered, shrinking back and muttering, "Why is it suddenly so cold?" The male servant also trembled, his teeth chattering, "I feel it too." Before he could finish his sentence, from behind them, a hand painted a deep, blood-like red silently reached out from the darkness, lightly touching the male servant's shoulder. He jumped and turned his head, his eyes wide as he stammered, The female servant asked angrily, "What are you so startled about all of a sudden?" The male servant pointed behind him, his voice trembling, "I think someone just tapped my shoulder." They both turned to look behind them. It was completely empty, not a soul in sight, only the wind and the rustling of leaves. The female servant scowled, glaring, "There's no one there. Who else could be here besides the 2 of us? I think you're just being lazy and want to go get a good night's sleep, right?" Her face gradually showed a look of disappointment mixed with anxiety. But before she could scold him further, a drop of dark red liquid fell from somewhere, trickling down her forehead and past her cheek. The young man immediately shouted, "Your face seems to be bleeding." The girl raised her hand to touch her face, dazed, bleeding. At that very moment, behind her, a female ghost with long hair covering her face, dressed in a blood-stained white robe, slowly emerged as if stepping out of a black mist. Seeing this, the young man let out a terrified shriek, "Behind you!" Seeing the young man stammering, the girl asked in annoyance, "What are you trying to do now?" The female ghost then spoke, her cold voice echoing in the night, "That is my blood." The air seemed to freeze. The girl froze and slowly turned her head. Both of them simultaneously saw the ghost's pale face, her sunken eyes weeping tears of blood, looking utterly malevolent, and they both screamed loudly. A ghost! The scream echoed in the dark night, as if tearing the darkness apart. A flock of black birds sleeping on the roof tiles startled and took flight, their wings flapping noisily, filling the sky. In that chaotic moment, the door of the Qi mansion burst open. A slender figure poked her head out, her eyes wary. It was none other than Qi Jiao, our female lead. She observed her surroundings, then frowned and asked softly, "Is it done?" The female ghost nodded, pointing a hand at the 2 guards who were now unconscious, sprawled on the ground. Qi Jiao laughed, giving a thumbs up in praise. "Good job, big sis." Qi Jiao hurriedly used a ladder to climb down from the mansion to escape. She wiped her sweat and said to the female ghost, "Luckily, with your ghostly illusion, big sis, I was able to get out. I will help you achieve salvation." Then, Qi Jiao clasped her hands together. The spiritual power within Qi Jiao surged, emitting a soft, moon-like glow. The female ghost felt this spiritual power from her and smiled, saying, "Thank you, Miss Qi." After speaking, her faint figure vanished into a thin mist as if she had never existed. Qi Jiao tossed her hair, winked, and gave a confident smile. "My title as a spirit medium isn't just for show. You know." She adjusted her clothes, excitedly slung her bag over her shoulder, and thought as she walked, "This time, Let's see who can stop me from leaving this place. But she hadn't gone far when the main gate of the Chi mansion creaked open. Torchlight flooded the courtyard, illuminating old Master Chi leading a line of people. With a stern face and his arms crossed, he asked, "It's the third watch of the night. Where do you think you're going?" Hearing his voice, Chi Jiao's face immediately stiffened, her mouth twitching as if she had a cramp. She gave an awkward laugh and asked, "Father, you're still awake?" Old Master Chi angrily ordered, "Men, take the young miss back. Guard her carefully before the grand wedding. Tomorrow, don't even think about taking half a step out of the Chi mansion." Her escape from the marriage having failed, Chi Jiao cried inwardly, "Old Master Chi, I'm really not Chi Jiao. Why did I have to transmigrate into a cannon fodder character?" Chi Jiao introduced herself. "I am Chi Jiao from the modern era, an expert in matters of the underworld, an emissary between the realms of Yin and Yang, providing the best service you can trust. Contact phone number 7166. My profession, I'm a spirit master." She recalled her last case. A client had come to find her. "Miss Chi, I've come this time because I have a favor to ask of you." She continued her story. "Not long ago, on behalf of a client, I went to an old house to communicate with a vengeful spirit. I accidentally touched a piece of ancient jade, and in a flash, the light from the jade pendant turned into a large hole that sucked me in. When I woke up, I discovered that the jade pendant had brought me to a completely unknown era." Recalling that day, Chi Jiao had just opened her eyes. The first sensation was a slight dizziness. Her whole body felt as soft as cotton, and her blurry eyes hadn't yet adjusted to the light. Before she could compose herself, a frantic shout came from the distance. "There's movement over there. It must be the young miss. Hurry over and see." She was still dazed, only managing to sit up abruptly and glance around. The sound of rushing footsteps echoed like crashing waves, and in just a moment, a group of servants in wedding attire appeared. Their faces were both joyful and relieved. "We found her. The young miss is here." Chi Jiao, still dazed, wondered, Where's this place? Before she could get her bearings, many people had surrounded her, lifting her up and saying, "Young miss, please come back with us." Chi Jiao thought in a panic, "Ami." She struggled and cried out, I'm not. You've got the wrong person." But the only response she received was a cold command, "Take her away. The memory ends here." Returning to the present, on the day of the grand wedding. In front of the Prince Regent's mansion, the wedding ceremony was in full, lively swing. Red lanterns glowed like fire, red silk ribbons fluttered in the wind, and confetti sparkled as it was tossed into the air. Amidst the sounds of congratulations, a fiery and prosperous union, 100 years of happy harmony. Chi Jiao, dressed in wedding attire, was led through the wedding ceremony. Her face was dazed, her eyes wide, her lips trembling. Her mind was a chaotic mess of indignation and helplessness. This is it. A pure flower like me, who hasn't even been in love, is getting married so young. Forget it. Since things have come to this, to avoid implicating everyone in the Chi mansion, I can only face it head on. She wiped away her tears, full of determination. In her imagination, the Prince Regent was an old and ugly man, with a lecherous gaze and a rose clenched in his teeth. He would approach, making one shudder. Imagining this, she shivered slightly and wondered in fear, but what if the groom is ugly? Just the thought is terrifying. While she was lost in thought, a loud shout from outside came like a final blow to her last hope. "The ceremony is complete. Escort them to the bridal chamber." Chi Jiao clung tightly to the silk ribbon, thinking, "No, I'm not going. I don't want to go to the bridal chamber." Her servant hurriedly pulled her. "Young miss, let's go." Despite her struggles, Chi Jiao was ultimately dragged into the room. The bridal chamber was lavishly decorated, red from the walls to the curtains, embroidered with brilliant mandarin ducks and scented with agarwood incense. Chi Jiao sat on the bed, her body tense, her heart pounding like a war drum. "I'm doomed. I'm doomed. There's no escaping this. Eldest Miss Chi, you've really been the death of me." The sound of steady and cold footsteps approached. Her husband, the Prince Regent, had entered. He held a cup of celebratory wine in his hand and walked towards her step by step. She clenched her fists, her head bowed low, thinking incessantly, "He's coming over. No way. I'd rather die than marry an ugly man I don't love. As he drew near, Qi Jiao suddenly threw off her veil. Her eyes immediately locked onto the face opposite her, and the whole world seemed to stop. That face was not ugly at all. On the contrary, it was so handsome, it was breathtaking. Sharp features, deep eyes, and a cold, noble aura. Qi Jiao froze. The Prince Regent frowned slightly, his deep voice carrying a hint of amusement. What is it? Is my wife this impatient? Qi Jiao gulped and thought, so handsome. I'm in luck. I'm in luck. Good thing I didn't run away from this marriage. She gave an awkward smile and explained to her husband, I just needed some air. The veil was too stuffy. The Prince Regent stepped forward and took her hand firmly. The warmth from his hand startled her. Stunned, before she could react, he used a bit of force to push her onto the bed. He let out a short "oh." Her hand landed on the soft red mattress. Her mind was now screaming frantically, wait, isn't this a bit too fast? At least let a person mentally prepare. The Prince Regent smiled and called her name. Her inner fangirl immediately surfaced. She corrected herself in her mind. I'm ready. He leaned down, his gentle breath fanning her face. She thought he was going to kiss her and immediately squeezed her eyes shut, waiting for that kiss. But instead, he leaned close to her ear and asked a cryptic question. Can your eyes really see those things? Hearing that, she let out a startled huh. She quickly sat up and asked, what are you talking about? In the quiet of the wedding night, the red candlelight cast shadows of the embroidered flowers on the bed curtains. Xiao Quan stood by the edge of the bed with his arms crossed and told Qi Jiao, it's rumored on the streets that the eldest miss of the Qi family has a spiritual constitution and can see things that ordinary people cannot. Hearing this, Qi Jiao's whole body trembled, her eyes widened, and her heart skipped a beat. A cold sweat began to form on her hands and feet. She muttered to herself, am I that famous? While she was panicking and trying to think of a denial, Xiao Quan continued, his eyes narrowing slightly, as sharp as if they could see through her soul. This prince would like to ask the princess consort, is there any truth to that? Hearing this, Qi Jiao was terrified, a chill running straight up her spine. She wondered, strange, why is he so concerned about the rumors of my spiritual abilities? She immediately slammed her hand on the mattress, half sitting, half springing up, and declared firmly, lies. That is absolutely a lie. You are a dignified prince. How can you believe such lies? Xiao Quan raised an eyebrow slightly, as if observing her reaction. A moment later, he slowly nodded. He turned and stepped away from the bed, his indifferent voice coming from behind her. Forget it then. Let's just say this prince never mentioned it. I have no intentions toward you. In the future, you just need to behave yourself in front of others. Otherwise, you can be as willful as you were before you were married. This prince will absolutely not interfere. Hearing this, Qi Jiao breathed a sigh of relief, as if a heavy stone had been lifted from her chest. Looks like I wasn't exposed. But when she heard the part about being able to live as she pleased, her eyes lit up as if she'd been enlightened, and she asked again, really? Xiao Quan raised an eyebrow at her, the corner of his lips twitching slightly. Of course. Qi Jiao immediately lunged forward, grabbed his sleeve, and shook his arm excitedly as if she had struck gold. Then it's a deal. She was blooming with joy, thinking to herself, he's truly a heaven-sent sponsor with no rules. Qi Jiao, am truly the chosen one. Xiao Quan instructed her, tomorrow morning, you must enter the palace to pay respects to the Empress Dowager. Princess Consort, you should rest early. Qi Jiao waved her hand and replied, I know. Your Highness, you should go quickly. She used her hand to hide the smile at the corner of her lips. Doesn't this mean I can use my status as the princess consort to look for the ancient jade? The day of my return is near. Xiao Quan turned to leave. Before stepping through the door, he glanced back at her one more time. His eyes were deep, and the corner of his lips curved up slightly in praise. Interesting. The next morning at the Southern Jin Imperial Palace, the sun had just risen above the clouds. Qi Jiao ran around the palace courtyard with an excited air, as if she were strolling through the streets. Her wedding dress fluttered in the wind. Xiao Quan, as usual, walked calmly beside her with his hands behind his back and asked, do you remember what to say when you meet the Empress Dowager in a bit? Qi Jiao was not at all flustered and replied confidently, don't you worry. At this moment, a eunuch holding a horsetail whisk approached and bowed. To them, Your Highness, Princess Consort, we have arrived at Kongning Palace. The two of them entered. Inside, the Empress Dowager of Southern Jin was already waiting on a high seat. The atmosphere inside was elegant yet solemn. Xiao Quan stepped forward and bowed. Your grandson pays his respects to the Empress Dowager. Qi Jiao, who had been so energetic just a moment ago, now spoke with a trembling voice, her limbs as stiff as a wooden statue, stammering, paying respects to the Empress Dowager. The Empress Dowager of Southern Jin said, "No need for formalities. Be seated quickly. You must be Jiao, correct?" Qi Jiao sat down, her smile stiff as she replied, "Yes, Empress Dowager." Inwardly, she was sweating bullets. As expected of an Empress Dowager, her aura is truly different. The Empress Dowager said with great interest, "This Dowager has heard that Duke Qi's skill and go is superb. I wonder how much of it Jiao has learned." Xiao Quan also glanced towards her. Being asked, she was suddenly startled, covering her eyes, and thinking in a panic, "I'm not the real Qi Jiao. How could I possibly know how to play any game?" If the Empress Dowager finds out and reports it to the Emperor, she imagined a scene where she was tied up, her eyes blindfolded. A eunuch would come to read an imperial edict. By order of the Emperor, the demonist Qi Jiao, for impersonating an imperial relative, is sentenced to beheading. The sentence is to be carried out immediately. Thinking of this, Qi Jiao was instantly terrified. No, have I committed the crime of deceiving the monarch? I still want to live a few more years. So she quickly made something up. My Go skills are far from my father's. But I once met a master who taught me a different way, a self-created game called 5 in a row. The Empress Dowager was very puzzled to hear this. Oh, why is it called 5 in a row? Qi Jiao quickly replied, "If you're interested, I will demonstrate it for you." The Empress Dowager nodded. Good. This Dowager was just wishing for someone to play a game and chat with. However, playing Go with this Dowager is secondary. This Dowager is more interested in you spending more time with Quaner and giving the Xiao family an heir soon. Hearing that, Qi Jiao's entire body froze, her face turning from white to green, her mind repeating only those two words, an heir. She felt as if a sword had pierced straight through her heart. Her body swayed as if she had lost all strength, and Xiao Quan quickly used one hand to support her head. The Empress Dowager of Southern Jin was still asking, "Does my new granddaughter-in-law understand?" After leaving Kongning Palace, Qi Jiao and Xiao Quan strolled through the imperial garden. The scenery here was truly beautiful. Gentle breezes swept through the weeping willows, and a light, fresh scent of flowers filled the air. But Qi Jiao's heart was not at peace. As she walked, she gritted her teeth and thought angrily, "An heir my foot. Who wants to have a monkey for this cold-faced man?" Just then, a voice called out, "A Quan." Qi Jiao looked up and saw a woman in a dazzling red dress, full of presents. She led a line of palace maids towards them, her dress fluttering, every step poised and proud. She came before Xiao Quan and said with a smile, "It really is you, brother. It's been a long time." Seeing her, Qi Jiao quietly asked Xiao Quan, "Who is she?" Xiao Quan inclined his head slightly, clasping his hands in greeting to the newcomer, while also answering her question, "Greetings, noble consort." The other woman stepped forward without any hesitation, her eyes sweeping over Qi Jiao with scrutiny, then asked in a soft voice, "You must be Qi Jiao." Qi Jiao was a little startled. "Ah, you know me?" The woman before her, noble consort Gongyi Yunying of Southern Jin, curled her lips into a smug smile. Her crescent-shaped eyes seemed to hide needles as she told her, "This consort and A Quan have known each other since childhood. A matter as big as A Quan's marriage. This consort would naturally know about it." As soon as Qi Jiao heard this, she immediately understood and nodded to herself. Oh, childhood sweethearts? She must be trying to assert her dominance. Not even sparing her sister-in-law, what a scumbag. She glanced at Xiao Quan from head to toe, then said with a faint smile, "So that's how it is." Just as the atmosphere was getting awkward, an attendant rushed over and called to him, "Your Highness, reporting to your Highness." The man bowed his head and whispered in Xiao Quan's ear. He was silent for a moment, then nodded and replied, "This prince understands." He turned to Gongyi Yunying and said, "The emperor has matters to discuss with me. I'll have to trouble the noble consort to look after the princess consort and see her out of the palace." Gongyi Yunying smiled. "A Quan, rest assured, this consort will definitely take good care of the princess consort." Xiao Quan turned and said to her, "You go back to the mansion first. Wait for further news." Hearing this, she thought angrily, handing me over to your love rival to take care of. Are you trying to provoke me? Meanwhile, on the opposite side, Gongyi Yuning's hand clenched her silk handkerchief so tightly her knuckles turned white, her face dark with jealousy. Her voice, soft and cold, carried a suppressive tone. Miss Chi, follow this consort. She waved her hands in alarm. No need to trouble you. If you could just point the way, I can leave the palace on my own. She was terrified in her heart. This noble consort, Gongyi, didn't seem like a good person. It was better to have as little contact as possible. Gongyi Yuning tightened her grip on the handkerchief, her lips curling into a smile, but her eyes were ice cold as she said, "Oh, if that's the case, then the princess consort just needs to head east without turning. You'll be able to see the exit." Qi Jiao immediately replied, "Oh, okay, thank you." Gongyi Yuning turned away and let out a cold snort, a smug smile on her face. Half an hour later, Qi Jiao, having no suspicion of Gongyi Yuning's words, trusted her and headed east. She was still walking quietly along the palace corridor. After looking around for a while, she wondered, where is this? I couldn't have gotten lost, could I? Just as she was feeling desperate, she saw the fleeting figure of a young girl in a white dress ahead, her steps as light as the wind. Qi Jiao's eyes lit up. Hey, someone's coming, that's great. She hurriedly ran after the girl, calling out, "Little sister up ahead." Wait a moment. Qi Jiao tapped the person's shoulder, her voice urgent. "Excuse me, how do I get out of the palace?" The person slowly turned her face. Her eyes were stained with tears of blood, her pale skin a stark contrast to the drops of blood trickling down her cheeks. It turned out the girl in front of her was not a person, but a ghost. Qi Jiao immediately snatched her hand back as if burned, her mouth agape. Oh my God. The girl then grabbed her wrist tightly and said, "I beg you, save her. Save Lan Sheng." Qi Jiao was startled. Save someone? Don't rush. Tell me who Lan Sheng is. The girl then released Qi Jiao's wrist and pressed her own forehead against hers. Immediately, Qi Jiao cried out in pain. She thought in fear, damn it, my body's being possessed. An image immediately appeared in her mind. A silver-haired man was holding the girl she had just met. She thought in shock. They are. She clutched her head and collapsed against a pillar, thinking, this is so uncomfortable. Then she pitched forward onto the ground and fainted. Qi Jiao lay unconscious on the ground. Her fingers twitched slightly, and then she opened her eyes. As soon as she sat up, she saw the figure of Xiao Quan. She wondered, Xiao Quan. He walked over and scolded her in a cold voice. You even dare to come to the Imperial Forbidden Area. Do you have a brain in your head or not? Hearing him say that, Qi Jiao was startled and retorted, Forbidden Area? But I was clearly following the path the noble consort pointed out. She suddenly realized. Speaking of the noble consort, that's right, I remember now. She immediately shot to her feet, pointed at him, and scolded, if you hadn't thrown me to your love rival to look after, would I have gotten lost? If I hadn't gotten lost, would I have wandered into the forbidden area? And in the end, I wouldn't have, in broad daylight, met. Xiao Quan frowned slightly and asked, met what? But she broke out in a sweat and replied, nothing. In short, it's all your fault. She thought anxiously. That was a close call. I almost let it slip. Seeing that she was all right, Xiao Quan turned around. All right, leave this place with this prince first. Remember not to step into this place again in the future. Qi Jiao followed behind him and said resentfully, you think I wanted to come? Suddenly, she stepped on the hem of her own dress, causing her to fall forward. She let out a terrified scream and fell into his arms. She quickly pushed him away, her face flushed at, I just tripped by mistake, don't get the wrong idea. He replied, it's fine, we're here. Qi Jiao grabbed his hair. Can you walk a little slower? Can you? The noble consort was sitting in a nearby pavilion. A Yin, beside her, called respectfully, your ladyship. But when she saw Qi Jiao walk out unharmed, she thought with extreme resentment, why did she come out of the forbidden area without a single hair out of place? Damn it, could it be that the rumors about the forbidden area driving people mad are just rumors? At this moment, the eunuch beside her continued, your ladyship, please calm your anger. Actually, if you wish to eliminate someone without anyone knowing, there are many ways. He opened his palm, revealing something inside. In the carriage, Qi Jiao tugged on Xiao Quan's sleeve and asked, Your Highness, do you have a brush and paper? Can I borrow them for a moment? Xiao Quan, with his arms crossed and eyes closed in rest, called out Bai Lin. Xiao Quan's guard. Bai Lin immediately lifted the curtain and replied, Yes, Your Highness. The brush and paper you requested. Bai Lin handed the paper and brush to Qi Jiao. She was surprised by this. So fast. She began to draw the scene she had seen in the forbidden area, thinking, I was possessed by that female ghost just now and saw quite a few images from her memory. I don't know who the man called Lan Sheng is, or what relationship the female ghost in the palace has with him. Moreover, that female ghost kept asking me for help. What exactly does she want help with? Suddenly, Xiao Quan reached out and took the paper she was drawing on. His face darkened. Qi Jiao quickly cried out, "Give that back to me." After seeing the drawing, he asked angrily, "How do you know about the 9th Imperial Uncle and Nan He?" She was startled and asked, "What's with the fierce attitude? Who is the 9th Imperial Uncle? Who is Nan He? I was just drawing randomly." She thought to herself, his face is so tense, he must know the inside story. It seems this Lan Sheng is Xiao Quan's 9th Imperial Uncle. Xiao Quan patiently turned his head and said, "Don't ask anymore. This is not something you need to concern yourself with." Hearing that, she immediately frowned and asked, "By your Highness's words, are you saying I'm being nosy?" This prince did not mean that. Qi Jiao thought of the female ghost and mused, that damn thing in white. The situation of being entangled with a female ghost is not something for you to deal with. She cried out in anger, "Stop the carriage." The more she thought, the angrier she got, and she immediately got out of the carriage. She pulled her maid along, saying, "Jixia, let's go." Jixia asked her, "What's wrong, young miss?" Bai Lin, who was driving the carriage, also asked worriedly, "Princess consort, where are you going?" Qi Jiao said angrily, "I really can't stand it for another second." Bai Lin turned back to report to Xiao Quan, "Your Highness, the princess consort, she..." Xiao Quan ordered, "Bai Lin, you follow her." Bai Lin immediately replied, "Yes," and hurried after Qi Jiao. On the way, Jixia asked her, "Young miss, what are we going to do now?" Qi Jiao smiled and replied, "Of course, we're going to do what a princess consort should do." She immediately walked into Zhaixin Pavilion. The owner hurriedly brought out many rare items to introduce to her honored guest. "Look, this is East Sea red coral from 500 years deep in the sea. And there's this string of pure white jade inlaid with auspicious patterns. Both the material and the meaning are excellent. Look, these are phoenix cloud-chasing earrings. If you buy them now, the shop will also give you a golden phoenix hairpin, an absolute bargain." Qi Jiao said in a serious tone, Buy it all. Wrap it up for me. Also, I'll take all the jade in your shop." Jixia, standing to the side, hurriedly reminded her, "Young miss, please reconsider." The owner immediately took out his abacus. He smiled at a total of 17.5 million taels. "How will the honored guest be paying?" Qi Jiao called out, "Bai Lin, I know you're following me. Come out." Bai Lin, who was hiding outside, was startled when he heard this. He stepped inside, bowed, and asked, "Princess consort, what can this subordinate do for you?" Qi Jiao handed a scroll of paper to Bai Lin and said, "Take this and find your prince. Spending money is what a princess consort should do. Tell him to pay the bill." Bai Lin looked at the long bill and could only reply, "Yes, princess consort." Qi Jiao said happily, "Go on, hurry." She thought cheerfully, spending someone else's money to find jade for myself. Today's motto from the beautiful Qi Jiao. Bai Lin rushed back to the Prince Regent's mansion, crying as he ran, "Your Highness, this is bad. The princess consort is going to spend the entire fortune of the mansion." Xiao Quan was in the study, reading official documents. He calmly replied, Bai Lin urged, "Your Highness, you must go and manage her." Xiao Quan replied again, "No need. Let her buy it." Hearing this, Bai Lin scratched his head in confusion. "Huh? What?" Xiao Quan said softly, "The princess consort's dowry, of course, is for the princess consort to spend as she likes. Do you understand?" He happily picked up the bill. After hearing this, Bai Lin nodded and replied, Your Highness is truly wise." Bai Lin brought the bank notes and ran to Zhaixin Pavilion, handing them to the owner, saying, "Here you go, owner." The owner's eyes lit up at the sight of the money, saying, "Yes, ma'am." Qi Jiao was drinking tea. Seeing this, she became suspicious. "Bai Lin, your prince is that generous?" Bai Lin scratched his head and said with a laugh, reporting to the princess consort, "The prince said you're spending your own dowry, so he has no objections." Qi Jiao, who was drinking tea, immediately spat out all the tea in her mouth. She wiped the tea away and said, "So that's how it is. You tell Xiao Quan to just wait? I've got him marked. I'll remember this forever." After speaking, she immediately pulled Qi Xia along and left. Bai Lin, holding the bag of items, asked, "Do you still want the things you bought?" Meanwhile, the owner waved happily, saying, "Please come again next time." Chi Jiao continued on to Baiwa Tavern. She cursed angrily, "Too cruel. Over 10 million taels, and it's for my dowry." Chi Xia, tell me, is Xiao Quan even human? He's not. Chi Xia quickly said, "My lady, please calm down." Chi Jiao slammed the table in anger. If I had known, I wouldn't have bought so much. It hurts so much. Just then, there were whispers from downstairs. Elon, have you forgotten all the vows of eternal love you made before? She angrily opened the door and asked, "What's going on? Can't you see that I'm heartbroken?" At that moment, the girls below were making a commotion. Elon, where on earth are you? Young Master E, don't hide anymore. Young Master E, I still have the love token you gave me. Young Master E, I've practiced a new song for you. Come out quickly. I will be by your side, even if the mountains lose their peaks and the heavens and earth merge as one. After hearing this, Chi Jiao got angry. Another scumbag like the prince, flirting with young ladies all day. Truly inhumane. Chi Xia repeated, "Inhumane scumbag." At this moment, behind them, a man entered the room, walking towards them. Chi Xia and Chi Jiao, completely unaware, were still talking to each other. "My lady, what is a scumbag?" Chi Jiao replied, "A scumbag, that is to say." Suddenly, both of them had their mouths covered by the man from behind. Chi Xia mumbled, "Who is it?" while Chi Jiao was startled. Robbery or rape? The person behind them released his hands and said, "Don't be afraid. Ladies, I mean no harm." Both of them angrily glared at the man. The man said, "Can I just hide here for a moment and then leave?" "No." The two of them, furious, opened the door and shouted, "Listen up, ladies outside. Young Master E is at Baiwa Tavern. Come here, come here." The young man hurriedly closed the door and said tearfully, "I was wrong. Please let me hide here. If they find me, I'll be skinned alive if not killed." Skinned alive. Chi Jiao smiled. "All right, seeing how pitiful you are, I have a plan to help you escape, but you have to cooperate a little." Young Master E, now disguised as a woman, walked downstairs with Chi Jiao and asked, "Miss Chi, are you sure I won't be recognized if I go out like this?" Chi Jiao replied, "You can rest assured about my skills." As she went downstairs, she could still hear the young ladies talking. Strange. Someone clearly said Young Master E entered Baiwa Tavern just now. Young Master E is highly skilled. He might have already jumped over the roof and walls to escape. Chi Jiao thought to herself, this playboy leaves a trail of affection wherever he goes. I wonder how heartbroken these young girls are. I might as well get justice for them. She pretended to fall onto Young Master E and cried out, what's wrong with my leg?" Immediately, 2 apples fell out from Young Master Yi's chest. Apples. His chest was now completely flat. Everyone's attention turned to him, leaving him dumbfounded and speechless. Someone immediately recognized him. "Oh my God, isn't that Young Master E? He's dressed as a woman." They immediately ran off, saying, "Oh my God, the dashing and romantic Young Master E is cross-dressing. Farewell, it's too scary. Goodbye forever, Young Master E." Young Master E cried out, "It's not what you think." Seeing the young ladies had run away, he turned around angrily and asked, "Chi Jiao, are you messing with me?" She picked up a wine spout and said, "Young Master E, you're wrong. This way, won't there be no more young ladies coming to bother you? It's very fitting." Young Master E picked up the wine spout in indignation. "This is infuriating. Give me wine. I must drown my 1,000 sorrows in a single drink." 2 hours later, Young Master E started to get drunk. "This cup is a toast to my past romantic days. The old Young Master E is dead." Chi Jiao, beside him, also started to get drunk. "This cup is a toast to the brothers I've lost, the air conditioning, the telephone. They're still there. They haven't left us, yet there's no way to reunite." The two of them quickly looked at each other, as if they were kindred spirits who had just Miss Chi. "You two." Chi Xia, from behind, called out worriedly, "My lady, please don't drink anymore. It won't be good if the prince finds out." Hearing this, Chi Jiao slammed the table angrily and cursed, "Don't mention that stingy devil. Just mentioning him makes me angry." At that moment, Xiao Quan had just walked in. Hearing this sentence, his face darkened as he asked, "Stingy devil." Young Master, he looked up and was surprised to see Xiao Quan. "Imperial brother, why are you here?" Chi Jiao rushed over, turned Xiao Quan's face towards her, and said, "That cross-dresser is ugly. Don't look at him. Look at me." Young Master he was dealt a second blow. Seeing Xiao Quan and Qi Jiao standing close together, young master Yi was shocked. Wait, Imperial brother, is this Miss Qi, the princess consort Xiao? I'm done for this time. Xiao Quan looked up, his face dark, and glared at young master Yi, then picked Qi Jiao up and said, in the future, bother your imperial sister-in-law less. Young master Yi froze mid-drink. Imperial sister-in-law. This imperial sister-in-law of mine is really interesting. Being carried onto the horse carriage, Qi Jiao screamed, let me go, I don't want to go back. I want to sing. After returning to the regent prince's residence, Qi Jiao continued to cause a scene. She held a broom and said, hello, esteemed guests. I'll begin now. For all the love, I suppress the pain. For all the hatred, I endure the hurt. Xiao Quan sat at a stone table with Qi Xia and Bai Lin standing behind him. Witnessing this scene from Qi Jiao, he was so silent he was speechless. Xiao Quan stood up and ordered, Qi Xia, take the princess consort back to her room to rest. Qi Xia immediately replied, yes, your highness. Just then, Qi Jiao started to sing. Sometimes I still believe that everything has an end. As soon as Xiao Quan heard this song, he stopped in his tracks. He remembered that his mother consort had also sung this before. Sometimes I still believe that everything has an end. Back then, he was still a child. He leaned against his mother consort and asked, Mother consort, what song are you singing? Why have I never heard it before? He immediately grabbed her wrist tightly and asked, how do you know this song? Qi Jiao looked bewildered. Huh? What song? Oh, you mean Red Bean. What's so surprising? It's a song by our Fei Wong. Everyone knows how to sing it. Xiao Quan was shocked to hear this. Fei Wong? Impossible. How do you know my mother consort? Qi Jiao suddenly saw his face glowing. She slowly walked closer to him. At this moment, he was still asking, who on earth are you? He wasn't paying attention and was immediately pulled down by Qi Jiao, who then kissed him on the lips. His lips. The next day, the sun was high in the sky, shining through the carved window lattice onto Qi Jiao's face, making her squint, grunt, and then shoot up like a spring. She looked around in a daze. Her head was splitting, and she groaned while holding it. Right beside her, Qi Xia had been waiting. Seeing her wake up, she bloomed into a smile as brilliant as a spring peach blossom and asked, my lady, you're awake? Qi Jiao rubbed her forehead. Her neck was stiff and her whole body ached. She grimaced and complained, Qi Xia, what's with that look on your face? Did someone beat me up yesterday? Why does my whole body hurt? Just as she finished speaking, the door creaked open. Xiao Quan, dressed neatly in a brocade robe, walked in and asked in a low voice, it seems the princess consort does not want to take responsibility for yesterday's events. Qi Xia immediately shot to her feet, her face as bright as a sunflower greeting the morning sun. Your Highness, you've arrived. Qi Jiao's eyes widened as she trembled and asked, responsibility? Take responsibility. She looked down at her trembling hands and asked, could it be that I was the one who did the beating? Qi Xia stifled a laugh and quickly waved her hands to explain, no, my lady. Yesterday, you forcibly kissed the prince. The words were as gentle as a spring breeze, but to Qi Jiao, they were like a bolt from the blue. She screamed, what? Forcibly kissed? How come I have no impression of it at all? Xiao Quan then slowly approached and sat on the edge of the bed. With a half-smiling look in his eyes, he lifted her chin and asked if the princess consort has forgotten. Does she need this prince to help her remember? Hearing this, she was frightened and immediately corrected herself. I remember now. No need. Xiao Quan continued, this prince recently happened to hear something. Before the grand wedding, the princess consort went missing in the middle of the night and suddenly appeared in a graveyard. The people who heard she was missing that night were running around searching and asking, my lady, where are you? Recalling this, Xiao Quan's face darkened as he said, from then on, your personality changed, as if you were a completely different person from before. Qi Jiao hurriedly explained, it's 80% a rum. Before she could finish her sentence, he angrily questioned her, a rumor. The princess consort wants to say it's a rumor again. Qi Jiao cried out, you, don't get agitated. Let me explain. She felt guilty. Actually, something like that did happen, but I don't remember the situation clearly. Xiao Quan let her go and waved his hand, saying, that's enough. The princess consort doesn't need to make perfunctory excuses to this prince. Hearing this, Qi Jiao's face froze as she wondered, what on earth does this stone-faced guy mean? Does he already know something? Xiao Quan turned to leave. This prince is busy and cannot stay long. Without another word, Xiao Quan turned and walked away. As soon as he reached the door, he called out in a cold voice, Bai Lin. Bai Lin appeared from nowhere and knelt in salute. Your subordinate is here, Xiao Quan ordered. You will continue to follow the princess consort and protect her thoroughly. The incident yesterday, where the man in black tried to assassinate the princess consort at Jiaxing Pavilion, must not happen again. Bai Lin immediately replied, this subordinate understands. I will absolutely not let any assassin have the chance to approach the princess consort. A few days later, in a small corner of the residence's garden, the early morning sun fell gently on a stone table. Qi Xia held up a drawing Qi Jiao had made for her and exclaimed, my lady's drawing is so unique. If it were sold outside, it would surely fetch a good price. Qi Jiao was lying on a long chair, wearing round glasses, sunbathing, holding a glass of lemonade, with her legs crossed, muttering, that's not a bad idea. Suddenly, Bai Lin quickly approached from somewhere. Qi Jiao was still muttering, another day, I'll draw a few pictures of that stingy devil. It'll surely fetch a large sum. Bai Lin ran up to reporting to the princess consort. The sixth princess has arrived and is waiting in the main hall. Before Bai Lin could finish, the sixth princess, Nanshu and Xiaozhen, had already run in and asked, is Imperial Brother here? Zhener has something to ask him. Seeing her, Bai Lin asked in surprise, Sixth Princess, weren't you told to wait in the main hall? Why have you come to the inner courtyard? Only then did Qi Jiao take off her glasses and wonder. Sixth Princess. She waved and greeted, hello, Sixth Sister. I am your Imperial sister-in-law. Xiao Quan is not here. If you need something, you could talk to me. Xiaozhen exclaimed in surprise, Imperial sister-in-law. She shook her head. No, absolutely not. My Imperial sister-in-law is supposed to be a fairy, but you're so ugly. Qi Jiao froze. The corner of her mouth twitched, her smile stiffening on her face. She maintained her politeness and asked, is that so? She thought angrily, how dare she call me ugly? If I weren't afraid of being beheaded, who would want to curry favor with you royals? Just you wait. If I don't make you obediently call me Imperial sister-in-law today, my surname isn't Qi. She feigned surprise. Sixth Sister, I see that the space between your eyebrows has turned black. It seems to be an ominous sign. May I ask if something has not been going smoothly for you recently? Xiaozhen replied in surprise. No, nothing. Qi Jiao pointed at her and said, think carefully. For example, conflicts, especially unlucky things, losing something. After hearing this, Xiaozhen quickly clapped her hands and said, you mean how I slipped and fell when I got on the carriage today? Qi Jiao nodded. Yes, that's it. Xiaozhen continued to recount. Not to mention my scraped knees, I couldn't even find my favorite hairpin. But how did you know about this? At this moment, Qi Jiao was giving a thumbs up, praising the ghost behind her. Accurate intelligence. Thank you, brother. Qi Jiao waved her hand and said, Qi Xia. Qi Xia helped the sixth princess change her clothes. The young girl immediately replied, yes, and approached. Seeing this, Xiaozhen asked in a daze, I already changed my clothes when I left the palace. Why do you want me to change again? Qi Jiao reassured her, Sixth Sister, don't worry. Just take off your outer robe and put it back on. Just as Qi Xia took off the outer robe, a hairpin immediately fell out from inside the robe. Xiaozhen was surprised. I found it. Qi Xia smiled brightly. So the hairpin fell into the princess's outer robe. We found it when you changed clothes just now. Xiaozhen said in amazement, I really found it. Imperial sister-in-law, you're amazing. Qi Jiao said shyly, not at all. But through the I Ching, the time and direction of the princess's arrival all pointed to a cause and effect. A quick calculation on my fingers, and everything became clear. Xiaozhen instantly became a fan, praising her, Imperial sister-in-law, you are so amazing. Qi Xia then took out the painting Qi Jiao had drawn earlier and presented it to the sixth princess. That my lady is not only exceptionally intelligent, but her painting is also superb. Look, this is a painting by my lady. After looking at it, Xiaozhen praised in amazement. Oh my, this is the first time I've seen such a lifelike brushwork. In a few days, it will be Imperial Grandmother's birthday. Imperial sister-in-law, would you consider making a birthday gift with your little sister for our Imperial Grandmother? Hearing this, Qi Jiao thought worriedly. The Empress Dowager's birthday. It seems I have to enter the palace again. This time, I can investigate the matter of the forbidden area in the palace. Before she could finish speaking, Xiaojin had already run off. Imperial sister-in-law, you said you agreed. I'm going back to prepare the materials. Qi Jiao was startled and asked, wait, what did I agree to? Xiaojin said, you wait for me in the prince's residence. We'll make the birthday gift together. She exclaimed, my handicrafts are terrible. In elementary school, I failed all these skill classes. Failed. Just then, thunder boomed and lightning flashed across the sky, startling Qi Jiao into a scream. She turned her head and said, forget it, never mind that girl. She thought to herself, stormy weather, the magnetic field is chaotic, it's easy to do stupid things. I should just go to bed early to be safe. So Qi Jiao went to bed, but at that moment, the female ghost she met in the forbidden area appeared again, crying, save him. A few days later, on the Empress Dowager's birthday, Bai Lin acted as the coachman, and Xiao Quan's carriage prepared to enter the palace. In the carriage, Xiao Quan saw the dark circles under Qi Jiao's eyes and asked, you've rested at the residence for many days. Why are you still so tired? Qi Jiao yawned and replied, I slept very well. She held her head and thought to herself, as if, and he's been appearing in my dreams every night. I've lost more brain cells at night than during the day. She recalled the previous night. Nanhe had entered her dream, pulled her hand and called, Miss Qi. Qi Jiao, who was sleeping, saw Nanhe and asked, Nanhe, why have you come into my dream? Nanhe replied, I'm sorry, Miss Qi, tonight is the last time. Follow me. And he pulled her into her memories. This startled Qi Jiao. That what's going on? Isn't this the forbidden area? That was when Nanhe first met the ninth prince, Xiao Lanqing. He asked coldly, what are you doing here? Then he quickly knelt and said, this servant got lost and came here. I did not enter intentionally. I begged the ninth prince for forgiveness. Xiao Lanqing said sternly, you should not be here. Leave quickly. Seeing this scene, Qi Jiao was surprised. Could it be that Nanhe brought me in her memories? The memory shifted. Nanhe took Xiao Lanqing's hand. Your Highness, from now on, let this servant celebrate the Mid-Autumn Festival with you. At that time, Xiao Lanqing blushed and replied, as you wish. Seeing this scene, Qi Jiao thought, it's a memory, all right, and I'm getting a dose of their public display of affection. The scene shifted again. After hearing that Xiao Lanqing wanted to marry Nanhe, the emperor angrily scolded, you, a prince, want to take a lowly palace maid as your primary wife. I will absolutely not agree to this absurd matter. After watching, Qi Jiao pondered, it was this request of his. The emperor certainly wouldn't agree. But wait, if Xiao Lanqing valued Nanhe so much, then why did Nanhe die a wrongful and tragic death? The scene shifted again. Xiao Lanqing held Nanhe's body, crying and calling out, Nanhe, you can't die. Didn't you say you would always be by my side? At that time, Nanhe said, I'm sorry, Your Highness. Nanhe has to break her promise. After witnessing this, Qi Jiao understood, as Nan, he was sentenced to death by his father. How pitiful. I have to help them. Returning to the present, she patted her face with determination. Qi Jiao, get a grip. Tio, save this pair of ill-fated lovers. I absolutely cannot sleep. But as soon as she thought that, she immediately leaned on Xiao Quan's shoulder and fell fast asleep. Xiao Quan reached out, wanting to push her head away, but she had already grabbed his hand tightly, murmuring, just let me sleep a little longer. Xiao Quan's hand immediately stopped. Then he pulled it back. He blushed slightly and let her use him as a pillow. The carriage suddenly rolled over a stone. Qi Jiao was jolted awake because of it. She said shyly, so embarrassing. In her heart, she cursed, am I trying to die? How did I end up in his arms? Xiao Quan lifted the curtain and said, Princess Consort, if you're awake, you should get off the carriage. This prince is going to have an audience with the emperor. You go with the palace maids to the Empress Dowager's chambers and wait for this prince. Remember not to run around. Qi Jiao got off the carriage and replied, I know, don't worry. In her heart, she sneered, if I don't run now, when should I? By the time you get back, we'll have already performed the salvation ritual. She looked for the way to the forbidden area and thought, if I remember correctly, the location in the dream, Xiao Lanqing, should be around here. But I've been searching for half a day and haven't even seen his shadow. I haven't seen him. Just as she thought that, she immediately spotted a man. She was surprised. Hey, that white-haired man is... She quickly ran over and called out, Xiao Lanqing, are you Xiao Lanqing? Xiao Lanqing said coldly, this is the palace's forbidden area. If the noble lady has no business here, please leave quickly. Qi Jiao hurriedly chased after him. Don't. Ninth Imperial Uncle, I am the princess consort of the third prince, Xiao Quan. I have something important to find you for. Xiao Lanqing turned around coldly and said, to me, there is nothing in this world that is important anymore. Princess consort, please leave. Seeing him walk into the room, she shouted, what if I said that Nanhe asked me to come find you? As soon as Xiao Lanqing heard that, he stopped and said coldly, Princess consort, do not speak nonsense. Please leave immediately. Qi Jiao hurriedly searched in her sleeve. I was really entrusted by Nanhe's spirit. If Ninth Imperial Uncle doesn't believe me, look at this. She took out the sketchbook where she had drawn the scenes she witnessed in the dream. After looking at the sketchbook, Xiao Lanqing was shocked. How is this possible? How do you know this? Qi Jiao pointed to her eyes and said, I was born with eyes that can see the yin and yang. I saw Nanhe wandering here with no place to go, unwilling to be reincarnated. Xiao Lanqing was shocked. You mean Nanhe? She is still here? Qi Jiao nodded. Yes, she has not fulfilled her wish. Her obsession is too deep, so she has always been here. After hearing this, Xiao Lanqing murmured, obsession too deep. Then can I see her? Qi Jiao took out a small bottle and said, no problem. I've already prepared it. This is oxyzite tears. You put on your eyelids, then open your eyes, and you can see her. Xiao Lanqing did as she said. As soon as he opened his eyes, he heard Nanhe's voice, calling him, Lanqing, I'm here. He asked in surprise, Nanhe, is it really you? She nodded and replied, Lanqing, it's me. Did you know for all these years, I have been by your side from beginning to end? He hurriedly reached out to touch her hand, but his hand passed through her spirit. Then he continued, seeing you live a lonely and dull life. While I was helpless, I turned into an obsession. Hearing this, his eyes filled with tears. Nanhe. Then he hugged her. Whatever wish you have, tell me quickly. I will grant it. I will, she said while crying. My obsession is the hope that you will let go of the past and start a new life, okay? Xiao Lanqing replied while crying. Okay, I promise you. I will pull myself together. Her obsession was fulfilled. The blood tear immediately disappeared. She looked up and called, Your Highness. He was startled and asked Nanhe. Then he said, Nanhe's wish has been fulfilled. Hearing this, Xiao Lanqing asked in a panic, What are you going to do? Nanhe smiled and said, I can finally go to be reincarnated with peace of mind. After speaking, Nanhe disappeared. Seeing this, Xiao Lanqing hurriedly shouted, Nanhe. Seeing him so heartbroken, Qi Jiao called out, Ninth Imperial Uncle, don't be too sad. This is the sketchbook of you and Nanhe. I'll give it to you as a memento. Xiao Lanqing said in a low voice, No need. I've already promised Nanhe to let go of the past. Whether I keep this sketchbook or not is no longer important. Besides, the things I did with her before I have long since carved into my heart and bones. Today, for the princess consort to let me see her again. I'm extremely grateful. Qi Jiao was happy to hear this. That's great. If you can think like that, then he will surely be very happy. I'll keep this sketchbook. Just then, the noble consort appeared and ordered the imperial guards. By my order, the princess consort trespassed into the forbidden area and colluded with the criminal Xiao Lanqing. Seize her for me. Hearing this voice, Qi Jiao was surprised. This voice is noble consort Yun. At Kongning Palace, noble consort Yun threw Qi Jiao inside, reporting to the Empress Dowager, she was discovered by me. Qi Jiao quickly sat up and said tearfully to the Empress Dowager, That's not what happened. Please investigate clearly, Empress Dowager. Don't wrongly accuse your niece. Let me explain. Xiao Quan was startled and silent upon seeing this scene, while Gongyi Yuning behind him sneered and asked, Wrongly accused? She pointed at Qi Jiao and asked, Then why did you sneak into the forbidden area when no one was around? She stammered, That's because She wondered, damn it, how do I explain this? At this moment, Gongyi Yuning threw a stack of paper on the ground and asked, I ask you, did you draw this picture? Qi Jiao nodded, yes. So what if I did? Drawing isn't against the law, is it? She thought to herself, looks like I can only play it by ear. Gongyi Yuning picked up a piece of paper and said, Fine. If the princess consort is being stubborn, then I invite everyone to see what is drawn on this. All the officials immediately took the paper she had drawn and began to discuss, This here, isn't this from that year? The painting is a perfect likeness. But how could the princess consort Quan know the appearance of a dead person? Seeing this, Qi Jiao panicked. I'm doomed. I'm doomed. How can I explain this clearly? After hearing everyone's discussion, Gongyi Yuning pointed at Qi Jiao triumphantly and asked, exactly. How could the princess consort Quan know what a dead person looks like? Could it be that she knows witchcraft? Hearing this, Qi Jiao was startled and asked, huh? The others also started to buzz with discussion upon hearing the word witchcraft. The practice of demonic arts is strictly forbidden in the palace. If this is true, it's even more serious than having a secret affair. Yes, this is a capital crime punishable by beheading and confiscation of property. Qi Jiao frantically refuted, no, it's not like that. Just then, a high-ranking official stepped forward and said, Empress Dowager, the Princess Consort Quan is without virtue, practicing shamanism and bringing disaster to the court. This is truly an unforgivable crime. I implore the Empress Dowager to issue an edict of punishment. He knelt down and accused her. Hearing this, she was stunned and wondered, punish me? Just then, Xiao Quan put down his teacup and said, please wait. Seeing him, Qi Jiao quickly called out her mind. Xiao Quan. Xiao Quan stood up and went before the Empress Dowager, saying, your grandson asked the princess consort to do this. It has nothing to do with the princess consort. Seeing him protecting her, Qi Jiao quickly ran over, hugged him, and cried out Xiao Quan. The Empress Dowager was surprised and said, oh, Quaner, why did you do that? Xiao Quan replied, your grandson has always hoped that ninth imperial uncle could move on from his painful past. That's why I had the princess consort go to the forbidden area to persuade ninth imperial uncle to let go of his obsession. Qi Jiao cried and pointed at the high-ranking official before them, tattling, hurry up, they're ganging up on me. That official gritted his teeth and said, imprisoning Xiao Lanqing was the late emperor's will. By doing this, the regent prince is disregarding the late emperor's edict. One day, are you planning to rebel against his majesty? Upon hearing this, everyone was startled and began to murmur, oh my, the regent prince, I never would have thought. Just then, Xiao Lanqing walked into the palace hall and said, it is all the fault of this criminal official. The high-ranking official was startled to see him, Xiao Lanqing. Xiao Lanqing walked in, knelt down, and said to the Empress Dowager, this matter has nothing to do with the regent prince and the princess consort. If the Empress Dowager is to assign blame, this criminal official is willing to accept it all. That official pointed at him and asked Xiao Lanqing, you dare to leave the forbidden area? Do you also want to rebel? The Empress Dowager could not listen anymore, angrily slamming the table and scolding. That's enough. All of you, be quiet for us. What rebellion? What beheading and confiscation of property? Did you come to our birthday banquet to cause a disturbance? That important minister hurriedly knelt. Your servant wouldn't dare. The Empress Dowager then spoke up. The general doesn't understand the full picture. Actually, before the late emperor passed away, he had already issued an edict to release Lam Zan. It's just that she herself couldn't get over her obsession and didn't want to come out. That important minister replied in a panic, I truly did not know. Seeing this, Qi Jiao immediately stuck out her tongue and made a face at him. The Empress Dowager smiled and continued, if Lam Zan has finally seen the light now and wants to leave that cage, Quaner, Jiaoer, you two have made a great contribution. Qi Jiao looked at Xiao Quan in a daze and asked us. Hearing this, Gongyi Yuning hurriedly exclaimed, wait, but they. The Empress Dowager's face turned cold as she turned to look at her and asked, but what? We were just about to ask. Why did Consort Yin appear in the forbidden area? Gongyi Yuning was flustered. Yes, your servant. The Empress Dowager waved her hand and ordered, consort. No need to say more. Guards, demote Consort Yun to concubine Yun, confined for self-reflection. Without an order, she is not allowed to go out. Hearing this, Gongyi Yuning was horrified. What? Empress Dowager, why? What has Yuning done wrong? Immediately, guards came forward to seize her. The Empress Dowager frowned and said, your heart is not righteous. You harm others and cause chaos in the inner palace. How can we allow such a person to be by His Majesty's side? Take her away. As Gongyi Yuning was dragged away, she cried out in panic, Empress Dowager. Yuning didn't. Yuning didn't. Xiaozhen glanced at her and thought, Imperial Grandmother. She held her head and sighed. Xiaozhen immediately said, Imperial Grandmother, please quell your anger. For today's birthday banquet, Imperial sister-in-law and Zhen'er have prepared a surprise for you. Hearing this, she was surprised. Oh, what surprise have Zhen'er and Jiao Jiao prepared for Imperial Grandmother? Quickly, bring it out for me to see. Xiao Zhen took out the scroll and introduced it. This all immortals offer blessings was drawn by Imperial sister-in-law, and your grandchild found the best embroiderer to stitch it. Imperial grandmother, do you like it? After looking at the embroidery, she said joyfully, I like it, I like it. We like it very much. Jiao Jiao, Zhener, you children are so thoughtful. Hearing this, Xiao Zhen happily ran to hug Qi Jiao and said, this is great, Imperial sister-in-law, as long as Imperial grandmother likes it. Only then did Xiao Quan understand. On one hand, the 9th Imperial uncle, on the other, preparing for the festival. No wonder she kept dozing off on the way. Qi Jiao, just how many more surprises are you hiding that this prince doesn't know about? After the birthday banquet ended, the two of them left the Imperial Palace together. Qi Jiao sighed. The birthday banquet is finally over. I'm dead tired, and my head hurts so much. She felt dizzy and almost fell down. Luckily, Xiao Quan rushed over to support her and asked, are you all right? She pushed him away and reassured him, I'm fine, you don't need to support me. Hearing this, he fell silent. But then he walked over and picked her up in his arms. Startled, she asked, Xiao Quan, what are you doing? People are watching. Just then, a young eunuch passed by and saw this in astonishment. Suddenly, Xiao Quan smiled and said, don't move. We're going home. Qi Jiao coughed once and said, about today, thank you for protecting me in front of the consort and the prime minister. Behind them, Bai Lin was waving and saying, Bai Lin will go find a place for the carriage. Your Highness, take your time. After hearing what Qi Jiao said, Xiao Quan fell silent for a moment. Then he turned his head to look at her and spoke. How can this princess person be bullied by others? Next time you're in a difficult situation, just find me. Hearing this, Qi Jiao was stunned and called his name, Xiao Quan. He turned away and said in a stern voice, remember this. I, Xiao Quan, am not a stranger. I am your Qi Jiao's husband. Hearing this, her face flushed red, and she exclaimed, Huss, what husband? Don't be so cheesy at such a young age. Hearing that, he shrugged and asked, am I? Returning to her room, Qi Jiao changed her clothes, lay down on the bed, and thought, actually, Xiao Quan is quite good to me. Should I tell him everything? I'm so tired. As she was tossing and turning on the bed, a white shadow suddenly flashed by, startling her into sitting up. She wondered a white figure just passed by. This white figure is not a simple spirit body. Where is she trying to lure me? Qi Jiao hurriedly ran after that white shadow. She passed by a courtyard where Xiao Quan was sitting and playing the zither. She wondered, isn't that Xiao Quan? What is he doing playing the zither in the middle of the night? Wait, the song he's playing is Hongdo. The next day at a tea house, the prime minister sat with his back turned, speaking, Lord Zhao, are you aware of what happened at yesterday's banquet? The Empress Dowager not only released Xiao Langxin, but also demoted Yunying to concubine. This is clearly a move against our Gongyi family. The one conversing with him was precisely Zhao Lianhou. He wore a veiled hat and smiled smugly. Prime Minister, no need to worry too much. The Gongyi family's power is solid. How can it be so easily struck? The Prime Minister broke out in a sweat and said, currently, the Emperor is chronically ill and could pass away at any moment. Xiao Quan, on the other hand, has the Empress Dowager's favor. If he were to gain the world, then you and I. Zhao Lianhou gave a cold smile. Prime Minister, with Xiao Quan, we must take a long-term view. We cannot be hasty. For now, let this old man give Xiao Quan a wedding gift to congratulate him and show our sincerity. Meanwhile, Qi Jiao was sitting in her courtyard in a daze. She recalled yesterday when Xiao Quan had taken her hand and said, Qi Jiao, please help me find the truth behind my mother consort's death that year. She thought to herself, last night, Xiao Quan agreed with me. As long as I can investigate the true cause of his mother consort, Chu Hanfei's death, he will give me my freedom. But I don't even know what Chu Hanfei looked like. How am I supposed to investigate? Suddenly, Xiao Yi appeared on the roof beam, hanging his head down to ask, what are you thinking about? Causing Qi Jiao to jump in fright and scream, Xiao Yi, what are you doing up there scaring people? Xiao Yi jumped down from the beam and gestured for her to be quiet, saying, don't scream, I snuck in. My imperial brother doesn't know. Hearing this, Qi Jiao immediately said, snuck in? I have to go report you. Xiao Yi grabbed her wrist tightly and pulled her along. All right, don't be so down and unhappy anymore. Let's go. Hearing this, Qi Jiao asked in confusion, go where? Xiao Yi said mysteriously, I'll take you to a place. Seeing the establishment in front of them, Qi Jiao frowned. So this is the place you wanted to bring me. This is the capital city's casino. At that moment, Many people were shouting, "Open, open, open. Did you strike it rich?" Xiao Yi looked at her and asked, "How about this place? Do you dare to come in and test your luck against mine?" Qi Jiao crossed her arms and replied, "What's there not to dare?" She thought to herself, wherever this young lady goes, there are people to help. So, in a bit, I'll be relying on you. She winked at a little ghost passing by. Qi Jiao walked up to the gambling table, placed her money down, and said, "I bet on big." Seeing how decisive she was, Xiao Yi was surprised. Then he immediately placed his money on small. He shouted, "Then I'll bet on small." After the reveal, she burst out laughing happily. "It's big. You lost. Hand over the silver." Xiao Yi sighed. This young master just wasn't on his game this round. Just then, the door opened, and an official walked in, shouting, "How many times has this official said it? Gambling is strictly forbidden. Betting. Guards, arrest them all, and take them to the main prison for me." Everyone immediately shouted, "Yes, Your Excellency." Inside the main prison, Qi Jiao was locked in one cell, while Xiao Yi was kicked into another by the soldiers. Qi Jiao snorted coldly, angry at this situation, treating me and Xiao Yi like this. "Just wait until I get out of here and tell Xiao Quan. I'll make you all suffer." Just then, Xiao Quan entered the prison with Bai Lin. The soldiers were shocked to see him. "Isn't that the Prince Regent?" As soon as Qi Jiao saw him, she immediately reached out her hands and called out, "Hey Xiao Quan, you're here? Quickly get me out of here." Seeing that she was an acquaintance of Xiao Quan, a soldier immediately ran off. "Quick, report to the prefect." Xiao Yi, in the opposite cell, called out as soon as he saw him, Imperial brother, still waiting, still waiting." Xiao Quan immediately shot him a glare and said coldly, "Xiao Yi, it seems you and this princess consort had a lot of fun together." Hearing this, Xiao Yi was frightened. "Ah, your younger brother just wanted to take sister-in-law out to have some fun." The magistrate hurriedly ran down to the prison, knelt, and stammered, "Prince, Your Highness, spare my life. Your subordinate did not know the identities of the princess consort and Prince Yi. Your subordinate will release them immediately." Xiao Quan retorted, "When did this prince say to release them?" Xiao Quan said to the magistrate, "A prince who breaks the law is the same as a commoner. Let the two of them stay in prison to relieve their boredom." Hearing this, Qi Jiao exclaimed in panic, "Xiao Quan." Bai Lin also asked him worriedly, "Your Highness, are you really not going to rescue the princess consort?" He replied coldly, "I'm not." Seeing this, Bai Lin was extremely confused. Just a moment ago, he rushed over as soon as he heard the princess consort was arrested. "What is this?" From behind the bars, Qi Jiao was still yelling his name, "Xiao Quan, don't go. You can't be so cold-blooded." That night, Qi Jiao had to sleep on a pile of straw in the prison cell. A group of people appeared in front of the cell. "That's her. No mistake. Make your move." They tied Qi Jiao up in a sack and carried her away this way. After arriving at their destination, they untied the sack. Qi Jiao immediately crawled out and asked angrily, "Who captured me?" A woman stood before her and smiled smugly. "You're awake, Princess Consort Quan." Qi Jiao frowned slightly and asked, "You are?" That girl crossed her arms and replied, "I've come to help you, Princess Consort Quan." Qi Jiao was suspicious. "What do you want to help me with?" The girl said smugly, "Help you get revenge on Xiao Quan." Then she took out a vial of medicine and presented it to her, introducing, "This is a secret potion from the Barua nation, colorless and odorless. You only need to put a little in his food at a time. In less than a month, your husband will do whatever you say. If you say one, he won't dare say two." Qi Jiao was perplexed. Wait, why do I have to get revenge on Xiao Quan?" That young lady said, "He abandoned you in the main prison and didn't care. For such a heartless and disloyal husband, doesn't the princess consort want to get revenge on him?" She stammered, I. Suddenly, she feigned interest and lunged forward, saying, "I do. I really want to. Quick, give it to me. I'll take it back and try it." After getting the vial, she changed her expression, coldly poured it out, then frowned and asked, "You think I would say that? Miss, don't joke around. Do you take me for one of those sheltered, ignorant women? Who knows if this vial of yours contains poison or not? You want to kill with a borrowed knife and have me take the blame." Being pointed at and criticized by Qi Jiao, the girl stepped back and said, "Hey, Princess Consort Quan, you're being too suspicious." Qi Jiao asked her suspiciously, "These past few days, I've heard that Barua and Wu Jin have been in a military standoff at the border, and you appear at this time. Are you a spy for Barua?" Just then, the girl's subordinate ran back to report, "This is bad. The Prince Regent has brought the elite Golden Army to hunt us down. Hearing this, the girl was startled and asked, "What? So fast?" But Qi Jiao was delighted. "Shao Quan is here." The girl turned to Qi Jiao and said, "If the princess consort refuses to cooperate, then don't blame me for being ruthless." Hearing this, Qi Jiao was startled. "What do you want to do?" The girl ordered men tie up the princess consort and set a fire. Immediately, a group of men came forward to grab her. Then they tied her hands. Qi Jiao was startled. You want to burn meat?" The other person, without another word, immediately tied her to a post and poured oil on the straw pile. Seeing this, Qi Jiao shouted, "If Princess Consort Quan dies at the hands of a Barua spy, do you know what the consequences will be?" The girl laughed coldly. "To tell you the truth, I'm not some spy at all. I am the princess of the Barua nation, Fuyu Zhenglin." With that, she gave the order, "Light the fire." Her subordinate immediately replied, "Yes," and lit the fire. Qi Jiao screamed in fear, "Hey, don't light it. Let's negotiate again." Fuyu Zhenglin walked out and ordered a subordinate, "You stay behind. If anything goes wrong, silence her directly." He bowed and replied, "Yes." Elsewhere, Shao Quan was leading a troop of soldiers on horseback, heading towards where Qi Jiao was kidnapped. Bai Lin, behind him, was startled when he saw the flames. He signaled his horse to stop and shouted, "Your Highness, it looks like there's a fire over there." Hearing this, Shao Quan immediately exclaimed, "This is bad. Full speed ahead." Inside the large house, Qi Jiao's weak voice called out, "Help! Shao Quan, you scoundrel, why aren't you here yet? I'm about to die." Hearing her voice, Bai Lin immediately ordered the soldiers behind him, "Quick, put out the fire." Shao Quan hurriedly put on an extra cloak. "There's no time." Seeing him about to rush in, Bai Lin worriedly said, "Your Highness, you can't." But Shao Quan had already run inside the building. As soon as he saw her, he immediately called out, "Qi Jiao." As soon as she saw him, she also mumbled, "Shao Quan." He ran over, cut the ropes on her, and supported her. "Don't be afraid. I'll get you out of here right now." Qi Jiao stammered, "You're finally here. Did you know the person who locked me in here is—" Suddenly, she saw something and quickly shouted, "This is bad. Shao Quan, be careful." It turned out there was an assassin behind them, drawing a bow and aiming straight at him. He heard her words, but didn't understand. Seeing this, Qi Jiao pushed him away, blocking the arrow for him. The arrow pierced straight into her shoulder. As soon as Shao Quan saw this, he said worriedly, "Qi Jiao." When Bai Lin saw the assassin, he immediately shouted, "Who dares to assassinate the prince?" After him, the soldiers immediately replied, "Yes," and gave chase. Shao Quan carried the heavily injured Qi Jiao outside and ordered, "Someone quickly summon the imperial physician. Capture the assassin alive for me. This prince truly wants to see who is tired of living and dares to touch this prince's woman." In Qi Jiao's room, she was lying on the bed, recuperating, while Shao Quan was leaning against her bed, asleep. Qi Jiao opened her eyes and woke up. Seeing Shao Quan in front of her, she was surprised. "Shao Quan? Strange. Why is he sleeping here?" Just as she pulled her hand back, Shao Quan also opened his eyes. Seeing that she was awake, he immediately took her hand and said, "Jiaoer, you're finally awake." He quickly moved forward to help her sit up. She asked him in confusion, "How long was I asleep?" He replied gently, "Exactly 1 day and 1 night." Hearing this, she was surprised, "Huh? You've been watching over me for a whole day and night." He smiled and said, "Compared to Jiaoer getting injured for this prince, what is taking care of you for 2 days?" He reached out and tucked her hair back. She suddenly remembered, "I remember now. That day I instinctively blocked the arrow for Shao Quan. No wonder my left shoulder hurts so much." She patted his hand to reassure him that it's just a small wound. You don't need to worry so much. Seeing this, Shao Quan said in alarm, "Be careful of the wound. Your wound hasn't healed yet. How can you be so reckless?" He was extremely worried about her. Seeing that her shoulder was bleeding again, Qi Jiao said, "All right, I won't move around recklessly, okay?" At this moment, Bai Lin ran in and bowed, reporting, "To your Highness, young General Chu has returned." Shao Quan hurried outside to meet him. As soon as he saw him, young general of the southern garrison, Chu Fengxian, bowed. "Your Highness, there is news on Zhao Yinho and the deposed crown prince who disappeared 6 years ago." It is said that they set foot in Yinchuan Town in Bailey some time ago. Xiao Quan mumbled, Yinchuan Town and Bailey. Since the crown prince's failed attempt to seize power was saved by Zhao Lianhou, this is the first time we've received news of them. Young General Chu continued to report. Furthermore, your subordinate has also found out that there are two people who have been in contact with Zhao Lianhou, and we are very familiar with them. Xiao Quan was surprised and let out a hum. Young General Chu continued. One is the younger brother of the late empress, the disgraced official of the Murong family, Murong Ku. The other is the eunuch by consort Yun's side, Li Changjin. Xiao Quan mumbled, so it's them. He turned around and ordered, then investigate at Li Changjin's place. Tomorrow, follow this prince into the palace. Young General Chu immediately bowed and replied yes. That evening, in Qi Jiao's room, she was lying in bed. Her face was flushed as she recalled what had happened this morning and thought, I've been recuperating for so many days, but I can't sleep at all. My mind is full of that cheapskate. She threw off the blanket and ran off the bed. Fine, if I can't sleep, I won't sleep. I'll go out and find a little ghost to talk to. As soon as Qi Jiao stepped outside, she thought in surprise, I don't usually come here. Why does it sound like there's running water? She stepped forward. Seeing the steaming hot spring in front of her, she was surprised a hot spring. Xiao Quan really knows how to enjoy himself. She quickly kicked off her shoes and dipped her feet into the water. She said resentfully, there's a hot spring in the house, and he didn't even tell me. The stingy ghost. She asked, still a stingy ghost, huh? Suddenly hearing a sound, she looked up and wondered, huh? What's that sound? There's someone over there. At that moment, Xiao Quan had just finished bathing. He stood up, revealing his half-naked upper body. Qi Jiao's face flushed red. She quickly covered her eyes and mumbled, my apologies for intruding. I didn't see anything. I'll be leaving now. As soon as Xiao Quan saw her, he immediately reached out and pulled her back. You've already seen, and you still want to run? Qi Jiao's face was red as she whispered, or what? You put on your clothes so quickly. Suddenly, he threw her over his shoulder, startling her. Xiao Quan, what are you doing? Put me down quickly. Xiao Quan replied to her, tit for tat. He carried her and placed her on the bed. Her face flushed red as she exclaimed, you brought me to your place. What exactly are you planning? Xiao Quan lay down beside her and replied, to sleep, of course. Hearing this, Qi Jiao glanced at him and thought, it's over. This celestial maiden's purity will likely be lost here tonight. Wait, he's really asleep. But Xiao Quan looks much more approachable when he's sleeping than usual. After watching him for a while, she felt sleepy and also drifted off. When she was fast asleep, Xiao Quan opened his eyes again. He gently stroked her cheek. Sleep well, Jiaoer. That night, inside the Department of Household Affairs, there was a knock on Eunuch Li's door. Someone called him. Eunuch Li. Li Changjin, who was sleeping, sat up and asked, who is it? He went to open the door. Making such a racket so late at night. Have you not learned the rules? The woman outside the door said, Eunuch Li, Lord Zhao asked this servant to relay a few words to you. As soon as he heard the name, Li Changjin was startled. What? Lord Zhao sent you. The woman entered and said, that's right. Lord Zhao told me to tell you that a useless chess piece can only be discarded. Li Changjin backed away in fear and asked, what does Lord Zhao mean? The woman took out a needle and replied, it means you should be dead. With that, she immediately used the needle to stab Li Changjin, causing him to die a tragic death on the spot. The next day, in front of the Southern Jin Imperial Palace Gate, just as Xiao Quan and the young general dismounted, they heard a eunuch in a palace maid whispering, Eunuch Li died a sudden death. I wonder how the Ministry of Justice will handle it. As soon as he heard that Li Changjin was dead, Chu Fengxian immediately ran over and grabbed the eunuch by the collar, asking, what did you say? Li Changjin is dead? How'd he die? The eunuch stammered, this humble one only heard that the body is in the Department of Household Affairs. The young general should probably go see for himself. At this moment, an official walked up to Xiao Quan and bowed. Your Highness, General, Li Changjin's body is over there, but please be quick, Your Highness. This subordinate still has to take the body back to the Ministry of Justice to be recorded in the books. Xiao Quan nodded and replied, this prince knows. Bai Lin did not follow them, but headed in another direction, saying, I'll go check over there. The young general knelt down to examine Li Changjin's body and suddenly noticed a needle mark on him. He then stood up and said to Xiao Quan, Your Highness, Li Changjin was killed by an expert who used a needle to pierce his brain. Moreover, it's highly likely the culprit is hiding in the palace. Otherwise, they couldn't have assassinated him so stealthily. And behind them, Li Changzhen's corpse was being carried away. People urged, take it away, take it away. It seems it's been too long and has seeped into him. Xiao Quan frowned slightly. You just found a small clue from Li Changzhen, and he was killed to be silenced. It seems the other party was prepared long ago. At this moment, from behind, Bai Lin held up a ledger and called out, Your Highness, young general, I just found a record book in Li Changzhen's room. The young general came over to look. After reading the contents of the record book, he was stunned. The Duke of the Empire was actually smuggling firearms and ammunition to the Morong family? But why is this record book in Li Changzhen's hands? Xiao Quan closed the book. It seems if we want to know the answer, this prince must pay a visit to my dear father-in-law. That evening, inside the Liu Pavilion, Qi Jiao was sleeping when she heard a laugh. She opened her eyes in surprise and thought, Seeing the beautiful woman, she immediately sat up, her eyes lighting up as she asked, Where did this celestial maiden come from? The woman chuckled and asked, So you're my daughter-in-law, you little rascal. You're also very cute. Being praised, Qi Jiao blushed shyly and thought, She said I'm cute. Hey, wait, daughter-in-law. Qi Jiao quickly asked, You're Chu Hanfei. The woman nodded and replied, I am. Qi Jiao immediately threw herself into her arms and cried, Consort Chu Hanfei, I had such a hard time finding you, you know? I, like you, also transmigrated here. Chu Hanfei asked in surprise, You're also from the modern era? Qi Jiao nodded, Yes. Xiao Quan wants me to investigate the truth of your death back then. Only after I find out can I be free. Please, can you tell me? Chu Hanfei said, I can't tell you right now. Besides, the matter of my death is no longer important. I don't want Quaner to be in danger. Qi Jiao pleaded with her, but my personality and Qi Jiao's are completely different. If someone finds out one day, I'll be in deep trouble. She reassured her, You won't be. You were chosen by the heavenly secret mystic jade. It is all fate. Qi Jiao clenched her fists and asked, The heavenly secret mystic jade is that ancient jade that caused me to transmigrate. What exactly is it? Can I still go home? Chu Hanfei shook her head. The mystic jade is the guardian of the Shao family's emperors for generations. You have been chosen by the mystic jade. This fate is predestined and cannot be changed. Qi Jiao asked again, Cannot be changed? Chu Hanfei continued, Currently, in the imperial court, countless eyes are coveting the emperor's throne. Although Quaner holds political power, causing those eyes to be temporarily unable to take advantage of any loopholes, Quaner is alone. Once those treacherous people overthrow Quaner, their scheme to usurp the throne will be as easy as turning over a hand. Hearing this, Qi Jiao asked, You mean I have to help him overcome all difficulties before I can go home? She replied, In theory, yes. Qi Jiao was stunned, Really? Then she sighed, Then my life is so hard. The next day, Zhao Lianhou went to a place. Seeing Murong Ku playing chess, he said, Lord Murong is in a fine mood. He turned his head and said, Lord Zhao, one does not visit a temple without a cause. If you have something to say it directly. Zhao Lianhou smiled. This humble one wants one of Lord Murong's men. I've heard this person is a foreign assassin. The crown prince currently needs such a skilled person to assist him. He placed a white chess piece on the board and said, Lord Zhao is truly not polite at all. Come out, Inhu. Immediately, a man walked out from inside the house. Murong Ku ordered, From now on, you will follow Lord Zhao's arrangements. Inhu immediately replied, Yes, my lord. On the horse-drawn carriage. Qi Jiao asked in surprise, Where are we going? Xiao Quan replied to her, The princess consort will know in a moment. Qi Jiao had just finished chatting with Chu Hanfei, and her eyes still had dark circles. She turned to ask him, Do you need to be so mysterious? She tilted her head and stuck it out the window, thinking, It doesn't look like the road to the western suburbs. Could it be that Xiao Quan wants to take me back to the Qi residence? Bai Lin, who was driving the carriage, was suddenly startled and exclaimed, Your Highness, be careful. There's an ambush. A group of people with swords appeared, throwing daggers at the carriage. Seeing this, Qi Jiao asked in a panic, What's happening? Why are there so many assassins? Xiao Quan quickly helped her off the carriage and ordered, Bai Lin, take the princess consort and go. Bai Lin drew his sword and shouted urgently, Your Highness, but you. Xiao Quan pushed Qi Jiao onto a horse and pulled the sword from Bai Lin's hand. "You won't even listen to this prince's words." Bai Lin immediately replied, "Yes, Bai Lin, at your command." Then he climbed onto the horse and said, "Princess consort, hold on tight." Qi Jiao was worried about Xiao Quan and quickly shouted, "Wait, Xiao Quan." As Xiao Quan blocked the attack from the group, he urged Jiao, "Go quickly." Qi Jiao still called out worriedly, "Xiao Quan." She turned and said, "Bai Lin, Xiao Quan is being attacked by masked men. Go help him quickly." Bai Lin rode the horse, taking her to a safe place, and said, "The prince ordered me to protect the princess consort's safety. This subordinate must obey." After speaking, he urged the horse to run faster. Qi Jiao was still extremely worried. "Who are those assassins? Why do they want to kill Xiao Quan?" Bai Lin replied, "If this subordinate's guess is not wrong, it must be Zhao Lianho's doing." Qi Jiao was curious. "Who is Zhao Lianho?" Bai Lin explained, "Is the trusted eunuch of the late Empress Murongshi. Murongshi and Crown Prince Xiao Jun's rebellion failed. Zhao Lianho rescued the deposed Crown Prince, and their whereabouts have been unknown ever since. A few days ago, General Chu just found out that Li Changjin might be connected to this person. Li Changjin died a sudden death. Today, masked men appeared to assassinate the prince. I was stunned upon hearing this. He wants to kill Xiao Quan to silence him." Bai Lin nodded. "I'm afraid so." Hearing this, Qi Jiao hurriedly cried out, "Let's go back quickly to save Xiao Quan." Bai Lin shook his head. "We can't. This subordinate must take the princess consort to a safe place." He had been watching from a tree for who knows how long. The moment he saw Bai Lin's horse appear, he immediately landed on the ground. Bai Lin stopped the horse. Then he dismounted, drew his sword, and shouted, "Who's there?" Qi Jiao looked at the person in astonishment and thought, this person's eyes are the color of blood." Qi Jiao fainted. After she woke up, she asked in surprise, "Where is this?" She sat up, holding her head, and thought, looking into that person's eyes, I fainted again. I don't know how Xiao Quan is. Did he lose an arm or a leg? At this moment, from outside the door, Murongku stepped inside. Seeing she was awake, he spoke. "The princess consort is awake." Qi Jiao thought in surprise. "Someone's here." She quickly asked, "Who are you? Or was it you who sent the assassins to kill Xiao Quan?" Murongku, while pouring tea, asked, "The person Zhao Lianho tried to assassinate was the prince. That has nothing to do with me." This humble one, Murongku, came especially to find the princess consort. Qi Jiao was surprised. "Murongku, you and the late Empress Murong Zhaoshun." Murongku handed her the teacup and replied, "Are precisely brother and sister." Qi Jiao took the teacup, looking at him and thinking, this person is so polite to me, he probably has no ill intentions. Murongku asked her, "I wonder if the princess consort has ever heard the story of my Murong family?" Qi Jiao thought to herself, but it's hard to say. I'll just listen to what he has to say. Murongku recounted. "The world says that Murongshi colluded with the crown prince in a rebellion, and the matter failed. But that is not the truth. It was all a gift from a traitor of the Murong family." He angrily slammed his hand on the door and continued, "My elder brother and younger sister died because of him. The Murong family was destroyed in an instant because of it. It's a pity that those who understood the situation back then all passed away early. I have no way to clear the Murong family's name." After listening, Qi Jiao spoke up. "I sympathize with your situation, but that matter doesn't seem to have anything to do with me." Murongku bowed. "This humble one knows the princess consort can communicate with spirits. I asked the princess consort to help me find that traitor, to clear the Murong family's name of this injustice." After hearing this, Qi Jiao thought deeply. So this is his purpose. She continued to ask, "Then what's in it for me if I help you?" Murongku replied, "I can tell the princess consort the whereabouts of Zhao Lianho and the deposed crown prince Xiao Jun. I think this news is very important to Xiao Quan." Just then, someone from outside shouted, "That Murong fellow, where did you trick my daughter off to?" Hearing this, Murongku was startled. Qi Jiao asked joyfully, This is old father's voice." The moment she saw the Duke of Qi, she hurriedly ran over and said, "Old father, why are you here?" The Duke of Qi called out happily, "Good daughter." At this moment, Murongku stepped over to explain, It was I who called your father here. Qi Jiao was surprised. Huh? Your father knows him. The two are friends. The Duke of Qi grumbled. Nonsense. Who's friends with him? Murong Ku smiled bitterly. Don't make things difficult for your father. A relationship with the Murong family means beheading and confiscation of property. The Duke of Qi crossed his arms and huffed coldly. You old man, you knew that and still called me here. Hearing the conversation between the two, Qi Jiao thought. It seems father's friendship with the Murong family is not bad. So if the Murong family's wrongful case is overturned, wouldn't the Qi family be implicated if it's exposed? Since it's like this, she thought for a moment, then stepped forward and said, Elder Murong, I agree to the matter you spoke of. Bai Lin chased after Xiao Quan into a tavern. He called out worriedly, Prince, your highness, what are we doing at the 100 Flowers Pavilion? At this time in the 100 Flowers Pavilion, by the pool, many men were seeking the company of women. They were being invited by the women. Young master. Handsome, why did you take so long to come find me? Xiao Quan replied coldly. Bai Lin, we're looking for the princess consort. Bai Lin glanced at the many people frolicking together and asked fearfully, Look for the princess consort in a place like this? Xiao Quan just walked inside to find the owner of the 100 Flowers Pavilion. As soon as he was seen, a subordinate immediately announced, Pavilion Master. There's a guest at the door. The owner of the 100 Flowers Pavilion heard this and was surprised. Humph, isn't this the Prince Regent? What wind blew you here? Xiao Quan stepped inside and said to him, Cut the nonsense. Tell me the whereabouts of Qi Jiao. The owner of the 100 Flowers Pavilion let out an "oh" and then exclaimed, How strange! The prince has lost his princess consort. What are you looking for me for? Xiao Quan impatiently scolded. All right, stop pretending. Your news network as a merchant is widespread throughout the southern Jin. How could you not know the princess consort is in trouble? Hearing this, the owner broke into a sweat and thought to himself, Why is he so irritable today? Has he really fallen for that woman? He opened his fan and gave an order. All right, speak quickly. Can't you see the prince is anxious? His subordinate bowed and replied, Yes, Pavilion Master. Outside the gate of the Qi residence, the Duke of Qi, in his carriage, said to his daughter, Good daughter, father is taking you back to the Prince Regent's residence. From now on you should live well with the prince. Father sees you've lost a lot of weight. Are you short on spending money, or did you argue with the prince? He was extremely worried about Qi Jiao. She waved her hand. Ah, no. Xiao Quan and I are very good, and I'm not short on money, father, rest assured. But he was still worried. Really? Father also heard you were injured. She broke into a sweat and replied, Not at all. Father, don't listen to rumors. She forced a smile to brush it off, thinking to herself, Although I'm a fake Qi Jiao, father treats me like his real daughter. No matter what, I can't let him worry. Just then, Xiao Quan blocked the carriage and shouted, Stop the carriage for this prince. The carriage immediately stopped. Hearing Xiao Quan's voice, Qi Jiao was startled. Xiao Quan came to get me. The Duke of Qi thought worriedly. Why did the prince come to pick her up personally? Could it be? Qi Jiao hurriedly ran down from the carriage to Xiao Quan and asked, Xiao Quan, why did you bring so many people to pick me up? The coachman, upon seeing him, quickly got down and bowed. Greetings to the Prince Regent. This humble one was taking the princess consort back to the residence. Qi Jiao took his hand and asked worriedly, Oh right, did those assassins injure you? Let me see. Xiao Quan pulled his hand back and said coldly, No need. Bai Lin, take the princess consort away. Bai Lin immediately bowed and replied, Yes, your highness. Seeing him suddenly so cold, Qi Jiao worried. Xiao Quan, what's wrong with you? Then Qi Jiao was pulled away by Bai Lin. She asked worriedly, Bai Lin, where are you taking me? Xiao Quan turned and called, Duke of Qi, would it be convenient to come with this prince? That evening, when Xiao Quan returned to the residence, he heard loud banging on a door. Qi Jiao, locked inside, shouted, Hey, let me out. What do you want to do to my father? Xiao Quan ordered, Open the door. Bai Lin immediately bowed and replied yes, then quickly opened the door. Qi Jiao, who was banging on the door, suddenly lost her balance as it opened and fell into his arms. Xiao Quan pushed her away and said, The princess consort doesn't intend to explain. Where exactly did you go, missing for half a day? Hearing this, Qi Jiao broke into a sweat and thought, If I tell the truth, won't I expose the relationship between father and Murong Ku? It would harm father. No, I can't tell the truth. So she forced a smile, stepped back, and said, I didn't go anywhere. Bai Lin fainted. I was afraid the assassins would find me, so I hid. Xiao Quan asked again, Really? The princess consort should know. If this prince finds out that the Duke of Qi is involved with rebellious traitors, the entire Qi family will find it hard to escape death. Qi Jiao broke into a sweat and replied, "You're overthinking it." Qi Jiao was worried. From his words, it seemed he knew she was lying to him. Xiao Quan still advanced towards her and asked, "Overthinking? If the princess consort is standing here unharmed today, how can you make this prince believe that the Duke of Qi and Murong Ku are not colluding?" Qi Jiao was startled and asked, "What? Colluding?" With the Qi family's current status, colluding with the declining Murong family is absolutely impossible. After hearing this, Xiao Quan fell silent. Seeing he didn't believe her, Qi Jiao frowned worriedly and continued, "Please believe me." Xiao Quan turned away and thought, "Jiaoer, I am naturally willing to believe you, but this must be investigated clearly." As for Qi Jiao, seeing he didn't ask any more questions, she breathed a sigh of relief. It was finally handled. "Xiao Quan, it's just, why do I feel so uncomfortable thinking about his suspicious gaze?" In the palace, after hearing the news, the Empress Dowager was so frightened she knocked over a teacup. "What?" Quanner and the princess consort encountered assassins. The palace eunuch bowed and said, "The assassins have all been eliminated. The prince and princess consort are both safe and sound." Hearing that, the Empress Dowager breathed a sigh of relief. "That's good, that's good." The palace maid beside her carried a teacup and walked quickly out to the corridor. At this time, a girl was peeking around the corridor and musing, "I heard the prince used to live over here." She wasn't paying attention to where she was going and bumped into the maid, causing the teacup to fall. That girl was Yinchuan City's princess, Yin Nianrongrong. She angrily patted her shoulder and scolded, "You damn girl, don't you have eyes to see where you're going? This princess came to the palace for the prince's selection, and you bumped into me. Do you still want to live?" The maid immediately knelt down and said, "Princess, please forgive me." Just then, Xiao Langson walked by and said, "One must be magnanimous. Princess, you wouldn't bicker with a mere palace maid." Upon hearing this voice, Yin Nianrongrong thought in surprise, "It's the prince." She hurriedly ran over and said, "Ronger pays her respects to the prince. I was just frightened." If she was not careful, Ronger naturally wouldn't make things difficult for her. At this time, the palace maid spoke up. "This servant thanks the princess and the prince for their magnanimity. If there is nothing else, this servant asks for leave to withdraw." Then she bowed her head, picked up the tray, and turned to leave. Xiao Langson glanced at her. This palace maid can be so calm after an incident. I'm afraid she's not so simple. In a courtyard, young General Chu returned to report to Xiao Quan. "Your Highness, the Duke of Qi said he had business relations with the Murong family in the past. But after the Murong family's failed rebellion, they lost contact. This subordinate feels this explanation is reasonable." After hearing this, Xiao Quan was silent for a while, then turned and said, "There are many suspicious points about Li Changzhen's death. It seems someone is secretly guiding us. But if the assassins were really Zhao Lianho's people, then what exactly does he want to do?" Young General Chu replied, "This subordinate will continue to send people to investigate this." Xiao Quan shook his head. "No need for now. This prince has his own plans for this matter." At the Feng Lian Ministry of Justice, Xiao Quan dragged Qi Jiao here in the middle of the night. She broke into a sweat and asked, Xiao Quan, do you know what time it is now?" Xiao Quan walked inside and calmly replied, "Just past the hour of Z." Qi Jiao exclaimed, "That's right, it's time to sleep. What did you bring me here for?" Xiao Quan said nonchalantly, "To examine a corpse." Hearing this, Qi Jiao was horrified. "Examine? Examine a corpse? Ah, I'm not a forensic examiner." Xiao Quan pulled off the cloth covering the face, revealing the corpse of Li Changzhen. He pointed at the corpse and said, "This person is named Li Changzhen. He died a sudden death not long ago. What you need to do is to ask him clearly for this prince the cause of his death." She pointed at herself and asked in surprise, "Did I hear you right? You're telling me to ask a dead person?" Xiao Quan came closer to her and asked with a smile, "Isn't this the princess consort's specialty? Ask carefully. This prince will wait for you at the door." Hearing this, Qi Jiao's face darkened, half believing and half doubting. A moment later, Qi Jiao pushed the door open and said, "Ah, I know who killed Li Changzhen. The murderer is a palace maid sent by Zhao Lianho." Li Changjin was bribed by Zhao Lianhou to hide by Gongyi Yuniying's side to monitor the Gongyi family. But unexpectedly, noble consort Gongyi was punished with confinement. He had no way to get close. He once told her, "I went to the Forbidden Palace," telling her, "I came to visit the noble consort," but was always blocked. Qi Jiao continued. Not long after, Zhao Lianhou sent someone to kill him to silence him. Hearing this, Xiao Quan was curious. Why was Zhao Lianhou in such a hurry to kill him? Qi Jiao replied. Even Li Changjin himself doesn't know this. Xiao Quan continued to urge. So did he say anything else? But Qi Jiao linked her arm with his, yawned, and replied, "That's all. Let's go. Let's go back to sleep." Xiao Quan looked at her and thought, "Qi Jiao, I hope the Qi family is not involved with the traitors. That way you can forever stand by this prince's side." Seeing him standing there in a daze, Qi Jiao urged him, "Hey, don't just stand there dazed. Bai Lin is still over there waiting for us." The next day, Qi Jiao woke up to find herself in Xiao Quan's arms. Seeing her awake, he smiled and asked, "The princess consort is awake?" The moment she saw him, she was startled. Xiao Quan ran his hand through her hair. The princess consort held onto this prince all night, causing this prince to lose sleep. "How do you plan to atone for your crime today?" Qi Jiao hurriedly pushed him away and stammered, That wasn't on purpose. Can I compensate you?" Seeing her push him away, Xiao Quan fell silent. Then he grabbed her hand and pressed her down, saying, "Too late." Seeing him suddenly press her down, Qi Jiao was horrified. "What are you doing?" He leaned down and replied, "Ah." Seeing his face so close, Qi Jiao thought in fear. "He's not going to kiss me, is he?" She hurriedly raised her hand to block him. No, wait, I'm not mentally prepared yet." But he once again pressed her hand down firmly. He leaned in and kissed her on the lips. But this prince can't wait any longer. Qi Jiao thought in panic, I'm doomed from the looks of it. Xiao Quan is for real this time. But I can't." She immediately used an iron headbutt, hitting his head too. "Dodge." He raised his hand to hold the wound on his forehead and angrily scolded, "Qi Jiao, you." After making her move, Qi Jiao wrapped herself in the blanket, holding her bruised forehead and said, "So, sorry, I just wanted you to calm down. Don't be angry." Xiao Quan frowned. She would rather hurt herself than. He said no more and turned to get off the bed. Seeing this, Qi Jiao wondered, strange, why isn't he saying anything? And he seems very lonely. It was as if her heart was split in two at this moment. One side scolding, "Qi Jiao, don't forget you always have to go home. You can't get too entangled with the people here." The other side said, "But have you forgotten about Lady Chu Hanfei? If even you don't treat him well, he's truly pitiful." Qi Jiao hesitated, then leaned against him and said, "Hey, don't overthink it. I feel we need to cultivate our feelings. We can't do it all in one step." Hearing this, Xiao Quan immediately said, 1 month. Qi Jiao was startled and wondered. 1 month again? Xiao Quan explained, "Didn't the princess consort say you need time to cultivate feelings? Then this prince will give you 1 month's time. When the time comes, the princess consort shouldn't think of escaping." He stroked her hair, lifted her chin, and then left. After a while, Jixia came inside and said, "Master, Jixia has brought breakfast for you. Please enjoy it at your leisure." Qi Jiao sat at the table, thinking sorrowfully, "Such a short month. If I don't run away, won't I be by Xiao Quan? But I'm not familiar with this place. How do I run?" She picked up a bun to eat and suddenly had an idea. "I've got it." She hurriedly ran to Prince Yi's residence. She called out, "Xiao Yi, is Xiao Yi home?" Xiao Yi was sitting in the living room, leisurely drinking tea. Seeing her arrive, he smiled and asked, "Imperial sister-in-law, why have you come? A distinguished guest. Sit down, and have a cup of tea." Qi Jiao sat down at the table and said sorrowfully, "No need for tea. Your sister-in-law came this time with an important matter to ask of you." Xiao Yi was surprised, "Huh? What is it?" She thought worriedly. "Things have come to this. Only Xiao Yi has the ability to help me leave." She made up her mind, so she told him the truth about herself. "Actually, I am not Qi Jiao." After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, Xiao Yi asked again, "You're saying you were originally from another world, brought here by a strange jade pendant, and you turned into Qi Jiao?" Qi Jiao nodded repeatedly. MHM. Xiao Yi continued. "Getting married was also a desperate situation. Not marrying meant beheading. So you don't like my imperial brother. Now you want to leave him? Leave the capital city. She replied, right. You're so smart. You understood after hearing it once. Xiao, he nodded. I understand, but this. Qi Jiao slammed the table, stood up, and shouted, stop with the but this and but that. Are you going to help me or not? If not, I'll go find someone else. Xiao Yi immediately slammed the table and shouted, all right, based on our friendship of having squatted in the great prison together, I'll help with this matter. Qi Jiao gave a thumbs up in praise, truly a man of his word. After returning from Xiao Yi's residence, Qi Jiao breathed a sigh of relief, thinking, this matter is finally settled. She was walking down the street when she suddenly heard a shout, Xiao Ji, don't run, stop. She just turned her head when she was suddenly bumped into. The girl stopped and said, who's being so careless? You should watch where you're going. But as soon as she saw Qi Jiao, the girl immediately approached and asked, you're Qi Jiao? Qi Jiao foolishly pointed at herself. I am. She wondered, why is this young lady walking towards me? Unexpectedly, the girl suddenly ran over, hugged Qi Jiao tightly, and said, your sister Jiao. Qi Jiao pushed the girl in front of her away and asked, young lady, do we know each other? The girl replied, of course we do, we are. Just then, people from the star-plucking pavilion ran over. You rotten girl. You stole something from the star-plucking pavilion and still want to run. Stop right there for me. As soon as Qi Jiao saw him, she shouted, oh no, they're chasing us. Run quickly. After saying that, the girl pulled Qi Jiao and ran off. She asked, confused, hey, what's going on? Why do I have to run? The girl replied, run first, talk later. After a while, Qi Jiao, panting, shouted, slow down. This sister's old bones aren't as sturdy as you young people. The running girl was suddenly blocked by someone. She asked worriedly, who are you? Qi Jiao looked up and saw it was Yin Hu, surprised. You're the one who took me away the other day. Yin Hu bowed and introduced himself. Yin Hu, following Master Murong's orders, is here to protect the princess consort's safety. You two, please follow me. Then Yin Hu led the two girls to a restaurant. Qi Jiao exclaimed, so much food. Yin Hu, thank you for helping us escape this time. Why don't you sit down and eat something? Yin Hu replied, the princess consort doesn't need to thank me. If there is nothing else, this subordinate will take his leave. Hearing that, Qi Jiao replied with a hum. All right. She turned to the other girl and said, eat slowly. Who exactly are you, young lady? The girl, while gnawing on a chicken leg, answered, I'm Nie Xiaoming. We met last month in my father's southern prefecture. Have you forgotten? It turned out this young lady was Nie Xiaoming, the daughter of the governor of the southern prefecture. Only then did Qi Jiao remember. Last month, she took an arrow for Xiao Quan, and then rested for half a month. How could she have met her? Nie Xiaoming looked up again and asked her, that's right, Sister Jiao. Weren't you going to find your master? Why did you come to the capital? She asked in surprise. My master? She thought to herself, when did I get a master? Nie Xiaoming replied, your master is great Master Rufan of Shuifeng Mountain, Ruabai Temple. Don't tell me you've forgotten again. Qi Jiao waved her hand. No. She thought to herself, this young lady must be talking about the real Miss Qi. But didn't my soul just possess this body? What's this about meeting me last month? Nie Xiaoming remembered something, jumped up, and said, I have to go. My parents must have sent guards to find me by now. Hearing that, she asked in surprise, you ran away? Nie Xiaoming replied, if it weren't for the Empress Dowager issuing an edict to select a consort for Prince Zhao, and my parents wanting me to fly up a tall tree to become a phoenix, I wouldn't have run away. While speaking, Nie Xiaoming stuffed food into her bag. After hearing this, Qi Jiao asked in surprise, Xiao Langson is selecting a consort? She imagined the scene of Xiao Langson being surrounded by many women inviting him. Your Highness, the sun has set. You should go to my quarters to bathe and change. Another young lady said angrily, no need, the prince wants to go to my place. And another young lady sat admiring the plants and said, the tree the prince planted is so nice. Imagining this, Qi Jiao clenched her fists and thought, men, their mouths speak of such deep affection, but they turn around and are eager to find someone to marry. After filling her bag with food, Nie Xiaoming exclaimed, see you later, Sister Jiao. Xiaoming is leaving first. Qi Jiao was startled. Hey, don't go. I still have things to ask you. Why is the table so empty? That night at Luo Yu Pavilion, Qi Jiao's residence, Chu Hanfei appeared and asked, daughter-in-law, do you want to leave that badly? To leave my son. Is he that bad? Qi Jiao, while reading a book, replied, It's not that. I choose to leave not because of the person. Xiao Quan is. Chu Hanfei was surprised. Then why? I just don't want to live under a false name. Always living in fear, afraid of others finding out. Chu Hanfei asked, Just because of that? Qi Jiao closed the book and replied, Just because of that. After listening, Chu Hanfei turned around. Then you must have never been in love. Qi Jiao, having been hit where it hurts, was startled and flustered. I've been found out. She lay down on the bed and mumbled, I have yin-yang eyes. I'm always muttering to myself. Others see me and keep their distance. Who want to fall in love? Chu Hanfei sat down and said to her, But my son isn't afraid of you. Qi Jiao nodded. Oh, maybe he's just very brave. So what? I don't belong to this world. Returning to the modern era is probably the right choice. Chu Hanfei continued to persuade her. I understand, but for things Quaner has decided on, he doesn't let go easily. So my good daughter-in-law. She gently came over and took her hand, saying, Please don't give up on this fated relationship with him. At the same time, inside the imperial palace, the palace maid Nanju was picking a lock when she was discovered by Xiao Langson. So you've been hiding beside the Empress Dowager all this time. No wonder the investigation turned up nothing. Nanju hurriedly knelt and said, Greetings to Prince Zhao. This servant doesn't understand what the prince is talking about. He said coldly, The Ministry of Justice's investigation into Li Changzhen's case found it was a palace maid. This prince can see that your martial arts are profound. Nanju hurriedly explained, This servant does indeed know martial arts, but only uses it for self-defense. I have never done anything that would offend heaven or reason. Xiao Langson let out an ah. Is that so? She quickly prostrated herself and said, Nanju would not dare to deceive the prince. Xiao Langson turned and said, Even if you are not the murderer, staying by the Empress Dowager's side is not stable enough. Tomorrow, come to Taishan Palace and follow this prince. Hearing this, her face darkened as she replied, Yes. The next day, the Empress Dowager was being helped to change her clothes. Not seeing the person, she asked, Where's Nanju? Why hasn't she come to serve yet today? Her maidservant replied. Replying to the Empress Dowager, Nanju was summoned by Prince Zhao to Taishan Palace. He said that from now on, Nanju will work at Taishan Palace. Hearing this, she was startled and asked, What? Another palace maid? He really is incorrigible. You keep an eye on the two of them for me. Her palace maid immediately bowed and replied, Yes, Empress Dowager. At Zhao Lianho's place, Nanju secretly went to see him. He asked Nanju. He took a vial of medicine from his sleeve, handed it to her, and instructed, This is iron shoe toxin. You've just been transferred from the Empress Dowager's main palace. That fellow is probably not on guard yet. You find an opportunity to put this medicine into the Empress Dowager's food and let that old woman die slowly. In the corridor of the Imperial Garden, Qi Jiao clutched her head and wailed. Every time she entered the palace to pay respects to the Empress Dowager would bring up the matter of having a child. It's all your fault, she said. Hearing this, Xiao Quan smiled, took her hand, and said, My apologies. It's because this prince has not tried hard enough. She quickly pulled her hand back. It's not about that. Across from them, Xiao Lanqing walked by and came over to greet them. Isn't this nephew Quan? Xiao Quan bowed. Greetings, Ninth Royal Uncle. Qi Jiao also waved and greeted, Ninth Royal Uncle, good morning. She glanced towards Wang Nanzhou and was startled to see his soul behind the girl. She asked in surprise, This young lady, do you happen to have an older brother? Meanwhile, the soul was constantly wailing, I was wronged. Wang Nanzhou was surprised to hear this. She hurriedly bowed and said, Reporting to your highness, the princess consort, in this servant's family, there are only sisters, no brothers. Qi Jiao scratched her head. Oh, that's how it is. Perhaps I guessed wrong. She thought to herself, That's strange, why would she lie? Xiao Lanqing looked up at her, then glanced towards Wang Nanzhou. With the princess consort's ability, it seemed she had discovered the secret about Nanzhou. Back at the prince's residence, Xiao Quan asked her, just now in the Imperial Garden, what did the princess consort see? That palace maid? Is there a problem with Nanzhou? Qi Jiao, holding a plate of pastries and eating, replied, The ghost of Wang Mingyue, Nanzhou's older brother, is following behind her. But I don't know why she won't admit it. As soon as she finished speaking, the plate of pastries in her hand fell. Xiao Quan grabbed her tightly and asked, Wang Mingyue, you're saying Nanzhou is Wang Mingyi's younger sister? She was startled. Yes, that's right. Him, how do you know him? Xiao Quan let her go and explained Wang Mingyi was an imperial physician in the palace. According to the evidence back then, he was the one who indirectly poisoned and killed my mother consort. He was later sentenced to death by the late emperor. Qi Jiao shook her head uncertainly that it wasn't done by Wang Mingyi. Based on what I saw in the Imperial Garden, his ghost has a very strong resentment after death. It's clear he suffered a great injustice while alive, so it wasn't him. She remembered Wang Mingyi crying tears of blood at that time, saying, I was wronged. After hearing this, Xiao Quan asked her, what? Are you saying that Wang Mingyi was a scapegoat and that the real culprit from that year is actually someone else? Afterwards, in Xiao Lanqing's residence, the Taishan Palace, a pigeon flew in and delivered a letter to him. He took out the letter, on which was written, Pay attention to Wang Nanzhou. After reading it, Xiao Lanqing thought, so that's how it is. This matter is so profound. On the street, Qi Jiao asked Xiao Zhen, sixth younger sister, why did you want to go for a walk with me today? The sixth princess said to her sister-in-law, do you know General Chu Fengxian, who is by royal brother's side? I've met him. Why? The sixth sister looked at them. Xiao Zhen's face flushed as she explained, a few days ago, royal grandmother told me that she has decided on Chu Fengxian as my prince consort. Qi Jiao was surprised. This is happy news. Your sister-in-law will take you to buy a gift. Just then, a man ran past, bumping into Xiao Zhen and causing the young girl to fall. Qi Jiao quickly caught her, sixth younger sister. Someone bumped into my sister and didn't even apologize. At this moment, Xiao Zhen realized her jade pendant was missing and panicked. Oh no, my jade pendant is gone. It must have been stolen by the person who bumped into us. Hearing this, she was shocked. What? Then she immediately pulled Xiao Zhen's hand and gave chase, shouting, how dare you steal from my sister? See if I don't catch you and report you to the authorities. Don't run. The maid behind them hurriedly followed, young Mississippi. Wait for us. After chasing the thief for a while, Qi Jiao panted and said, let's see where you can run now. Xiao Zhen witnessed the scene inside and was surprised. Here, why are there so many homeless children here? So many homeless children here? The group of children saw the two girls and quickly stood in front of the boy, saying, you two young ladies, you can't take brother Shi. The boy named Shi quickly stood up and called out, young Mississippi. The little kids hugged him and said, brother Shi, don't steal anymore. If you get caught, we can't live without you. Seeing this scene, Xiao Zhen said to Qi Jiao, sister-in-law, look, they are so pitiful. Qi Jiao nodded. She walked over, took out some silver from her pouch, and said, how about this? That jade pendant is very important to my sister. I won't report you to the authorities. I'll use this silver to exchange for it. What do you think? She took the pouch of silver and immediately knelt down. She thanks you two ladies. She will never forget the great kindness of you two ladies for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life. Qi Jiao came forward to help Shi up and said, it's nothing. It's nothing. Get up quickly. Where are you all from? Where are your parents? As she recounted, we are all refugees from Barua. Ever since Xiao Quan expelled the people of Barua from the capital, our parents were all assassinated. I brought these little ones with me, and it wasn't easy to escape. Qi Jiao was shocked and asked, Xiao Quan did this? She thought to herself, impossible. Could it be that Xiao Quan did this because of what happened with Princess Furong last time? But this doesn't seem like Xiao Quan's methods. She patted the boy's shoulder and said, don't worry, I will find someone to take care of your lives. You won't have to steal anymore. Furthermore, regarding the matter of the Barua people, I will find a way to investigate. I will definitely protect you all completely. Hearing this, she immediately replied, she thanks you, benefactor. After leaving that place, Xiao Zhen said to her, sister-in-law, I feel that this wasn't done by royal brother. She nodded that I know. Xiao Quan would not indiscriminately kill commoners. There must be something wrong behind this, and it's very likely aimed against your Xiao family. Hearing that, Xiao Zhen thought worriedly, this is too much. Who on earth wants to frame royal brother? That evening, Fu Tanglan secretly went to meet Zhao Lianhou and reported, Lord Zhao, the matter you instructed me to do has been arranged. I hope that what you promised me, you also won't. Go back on your word. Zhao Lianhou laughed and said, of course. But I didn't expect the princess to use this to set a trap for Xiao Quan. Decisive enough, cunning enough. She laughed. as long as it can make it. So, Shao Quan never has a chance to recover. What's the death of a few Barua people? At the Golden Chariot Hall of the Grand Audience in the Southern Jin Imperial Palace, the ministers in the inner hall were whispering, "What happened?" That's right. It was the same last time. The Empress Dowager, supported by a palace maid, came to sit on the dragon throne and spoke. The Emperor's health is not good. Today, I can only temporarily preside over the court. All my ministers, you may rise. As soon as the censor saw her, he immediately stepped forward to reporting to the Empress Dowager. News came from the border yesterday. The Barua people have suddenly brought soldiers to the border. I fear they want to provoke us. The Empress Dowager was surprised to hear this. So there's such a thing. Although the Prince Regent ordered the people of the Barua nation to be expelled from the capital a few days ago, and it's unavoidable that they would harbor resentment. Such a reaction is too drastic. The censor glanced towards Shao Quan. At this moment, the Prime Minister stepped forward to report to the Empress Dowager. This subject has heard a rumor that the Prince Regent not only expelled the Barua people, but also secretly sent people to silence them. That is why all the Barua people became angry and raised their troops. After hearing this, everyone began to murmur amongst themselves. Lord Censor's words are very reasonable. That's right, the Prince Regent indeed. The Grand General who protects the nation, Chu Wei, immediately stepped forward to report. This old subject does not agree with the Prime Minister's words. For the Prince Regent to expel them and then silence them would be a redundant act. Why would the Prince Regent do such a useless thing? Besides, Lord Prime Minister, why are you so certain that the silencing was done by the Prince Regent? He replied, the Prince Regent's power is as clear as day. Killing people is truly as easy as turning over his hand. Besides, as this subject just said, it is only a rumor. Hearing this, Chu Wei snorted coldly, knowing it's a rumor and still reporting it to Her Majesty the Empress Dowager. I'm afraid Lord Prime Minister has other intentions. He became angry, At this moment, Shao Quan stepped forward and presented his military tally. A palace maid came down, took the tally, and said, Your Majesty the Empress Dowager, the prince's military tally. The Empress Dowager was surprised. Quaner, what is this? He said in a serious tone, if Barua demands an explanation from Southern Jin, before the matter is clearly investigated, this prince voluntarily relinquishes all positions to prove my innocence. After the court session ended, Shao Quan got on his carriage and returned to the prince's residence. Bai Lin asked him, Your Highness, why did you voluntarily hand over the military authority today? Isn't that just fulfilling their wishes? He was reading a book, and upon hearing this, he closed it. Handing over the military authority is a pretense. Retreating in order to advance, to lure the snake out of its hole, is the real goal. That evening, after hearing the news, Jixia hurriedly ran to find her young miss, I heard that in court today, the prince was forced by the ministers to hand over his military authority. He is now drinking alone in the plum blossom forest to drown his sorrows. Qi Jiao was shocked and horrified. How could that be? Ji Xia continued. At this moment, the prince is suffering in his heart. If master could go and comfort him, the prince would be moved by master's kindness. Qi Jiao paced back and forth, thinking to herself, Shao Quan didn't even resist. Could he really be ashamed? She turned around and said, No, I have to go ask him myself. She hurriedly ran to the plum blossom forest. Panting as she ran, she saw Shao Quan, who was surprised. Princess Consort, why are you in such a rush? What's the matter? She ran to his side. Hey man, your military authority is gone. How can you act like nothing happened? You made me worry for nothing. She immediately took his wine cup and drank from it continuously. Hearing her words, Shao Quan raised an eyebrow and teased. Jiaoer is worried about this prince. She put the wine cup down and said, I'm not worried about you. I just want to know if you were the one who killed the Barua people. He shook his head that I was not. Hearing this, Qi Jiao thought that makes sense. Shao Quan is not the type to do something and not admit it. It seems this matter is not related to him. She stood up and said, If you didn't do it, then you should hurry and clear your name. Besides, I also want to quickly find the real culprit to clear your name soon. Suddenly, he pulled her, startling her. He lifted her chin and said, I didn't expect Jiaoer to be so concerned about this prince's affairs. She gently pushed him away. What are you doing? let me go quickly. But he moved closer, pinning her against the wall, and said, don't move. This prince needs to punish the princess consort. She panicked. I was kind enough to help you come up with an idea, and you want to punish me? What kind of? Before she could finish, Xiao Quan leaned down and kissed her on the lips. She punched him hard in anger. Xiao Quan, you bastard. After saying that, she turned and left in a huff. At the same time, Bai Lin came to report and was surprised by the scene. Why is the princess consort so full of killing intent? He turned and ran to Xiao Quan's side. Reporting to your highness, a spy reports that the Barua prince, Fuyuji, has entered the capital disguised as a refugee, probably also to investigate the massacre of the Barua people. Suddenly, he was surprised. When he saw Xiao Quan's bruised face, he immediately burst out laughing. Xiao Quan radiated a murderous aura and asked, is it that funny? Bai Lin quickly denied, no, not at all. Xiao Quan ordered, in that case, go do a handstand for 2 hours for this prince. He cried out in alarm. Yes, as you command. After being forcibly kissed, Qi Jiao was furious. She went out for a walk on the street. While buying food, she thought, how could it be like this? He dared to take advantage of me. I was originally going to tell you that I found a witness who could clear your name. Just then, people on the street were talking that, oh my, I don't know what happened to that group. They suddenly ran. That's right. If there's anyone inside, they definitely can't be saved. At this moment, Qi Jiao was surprised. What's happening up ahead? As soon as she saw the burning place, she cried out, wait, isn't that where she and the others live? She quickly put down her food and rushed forward, calling out as she. Behind her, Inhu saw her about to run in and immediately pulled her back, saying, don't go there. Qi Jiao called out in surprise, Inhu. Inhu said to her, Princess consort, follow me. Qi Jiao hurriedly followed Inhu to a building. As soon as she stepped inside and saw that the children were safe, she exclaimed happily, that's great, so everyone is all right. I thought I would never see you all again. The children were happy to see her and called out, Sister Qi Jiao. Qi Jiao looked around and asked, that's right, where is she? The two children looked at each other and replied, brother, ain't she? Just then, a she appeared and called to her, Miss Qi. As soon as Qi Jiao saw a she was surprised. Are you a she? Why are you wearing? He introduced himself. I am Fuyuji, the prince of the Barua nation. In order to investigate the assassination of my countrymen, I had no choice but to hide my true identity from you, miss. Please forgive me. Qi Jiao turned and asked, so, Inhu, you knew all of this? Inhu replied, I only found out yesterday when I ran into the real culprit who assassinated the Barua people. Qi Jiao was alarmed. What? You ran into the real culprit? The child ran to Inhu and gave him a pastry, saying, brother, have a pastry. Fuyuji patted the heads of the children at his feet and replied, that's right. The children and I almost died. Fortunately, Inhu came to our aid. After hiding our tracks, we had no choice but to set fire to our residence. Qi Jiao nodded. Oh, that's how it is. Then who is the real culprit? Inhu behind her spoke up that it's Fuyu Tanglan. I was ordered to monitor Zhao Lianho's movements and discovered that he and Fuyu Tanglan were frequently in contact. Qi Jiao was surprised. It's her again. She recalled being kidnapped last time and thought that Fuyu Tanglan wanted to kill me last time. It turns out she's Fuyu Ji's younger sister. At this moment, Fuyu Ji stepped forward and bowed. Thank you, Miss Qi and great hero Inhu, for helping me. We will deeply remember this kindness. No need to be so polite. Fuyu Ji continued. Now that the matter is clear, I should also bring the truth back to Barua to quickly resolve the dispute between our two countries. After leaving that building, on the way back, Qi Jiao asked Inhu, tell me, why would Princess Fuyu want to kill her own people? Inhu explained, because she wanted to take the opportunity to frame Xiao Quan. If Xiao Quan's power wavers, she can win the support of the pro-war faction in the Barua nation and thus seize the throne. Qi Jiao moved closer to Inhu and asked again to not hesitate to lose her own people for the sake of power. That's truly terrifying. Inhu turned his back and replied, who knows? Seeing this, Qi Jiao pouted, try to act all mysterious. At the same time, inside the southern Jin Imperial Palace, a palace maid said to Wang Nanzhou, Nanzhou, thank you so much. You've been transferred to the Taishan Palace. I'm sorry to trouble you with delivering things to the Empress Dowager's main palace. Wang Nanzhou replied to her, it's nothing. We should all help each other. Just then, Xiao Lanchen walked in. Seeing her holding a tray of food, he immediately knocked the bowl of food away and grabbed her hand, scolding, Nanzhou, you have a lot of nerve. The other palace maid was frightened, while Wang Nanzhou asked in surprise. What is your highness talking about? Nanzhou doesn't understand. He pulled her away, saying, no need for more words. Follow this prince. After returning to the palace, he ordered, close the doors. Without this prince's permission, no one is to enter. The eunuch immediately replied, yes, and withdrew. In a room, Xiao Lanqing asked her, Nanzhou, what did you put in the Empress Dowager's soup just now? Hearing this, she was startled and thought he found out. If the matter is exposed, Lord Zhao Lianhou cannot live. She immediately pulled a dagger from her sleeve, raised it, and charged, you forced me to do this. But Xiao Lanqing quickly subdued her. He squeezed her neck and asked, what did Zhao Lianhou give you for you to be willing to risk your life for him like this? You are Wang Mingyi's younger sister. I know you want to avenge your older brother. Hearing this, Wang Nanzhou was startled and said, my skills are not as good as yours. Just kill me. But Xiao Lanqing let her go and asked, is what Zhao Lianhou told you really the truth? Hearing this, Wang Nanzhou panicked. What do you mean? Xiao Lanqing turned around and said, let's go. I'll take you to meet someone. She asked defensively who? Xiao Lanqing smiled and replied, someone who can see your older brother. Fuyu Tanglan ran to Zhao Lianhou's residence and asked, where's Lord Zhao? I want to see your Lord Zhao. The group of men inside were drinking. Seeing Fuyu Tanglan arrive, they put down their wine bowls. Your own brother doesn't care if you live or die anymore, and you still want to find Lord Zhao. Hearing this, Fuyu Tanglan asked, what do you mean? The two men stood up. Lord Zhao was just using you from the beginning. Now that you're nothing, how could Lord Zhao possibly see you? Hearing this, she quickly shouted, I haven't failed. It's because my brother is meddling in other people's business. Go tell Lord Zhao to give me another chance. One of the men immediately closed the door and said, you've made an enemy of Southern Jin and lost your power in Barua. The whole world knows what you've done. Princess Fuyu, you have no more chances. After speaking, he gave a perverted smile and approached her. She asked in panic, what do you want to do? He came forward and grabbed Fuyu Tanglan tightly, saying, since you're not going to live much longer anyway, why not let us two brothers? She screamed in fear, no, don't. Zhao Lianhou was right behind the screen, ignoring her as she was captured by the two brothers. He smiled smugly, what a fool. The next day, Qi Jiao happily hummed a tune as she returned to her residence, Luoyu Pavilion. As soon as she opened the door, she was confused to see Xiao Quan sitting in her room. Why is he in my room? I should probably slip away. Seeing her turn around, Xiao Quan put down his teacup. Where are you running to? Jiao is hiding from this prince. Could it be that you've done something to feel guilty about? She immediately turned around, smiled, and replied, how could that be? I was just so happy to see your highness that for a moment, I didn't know how to face you. Suddenly, he pulled her down, placing her on his lap. He smiled and asked, oh, so Jiao is shy? She quickly denied it. I'm not. He continued to tease. This prince still remembers that Jiao once said she needed time to cultivate feelings. Why don't we cultivate them, well, right now? He leaned down and lifted her chin. The atmosphere was becoming extremely heated. Then suddenly, Bai Lin pushed open the door and called out, Princess Consort, a letter from Duke Qiju. Seeing the embarrassing situation, Bai Lin broke out in a sweat. Xiao Quan, on the other hand, glared at Bai Lin with a murderous look. Bai Lin could only hastily throw the letter down and run away. This subordinate takes his leave. I wish your highness and the princess consort a harmonious relationship, a happy marriage, and the early birth of a noble son. Qi Jiao gave a forced laugh and pushed Xiao Quan away. Why father wrote me a letter? Let me see. She opened the letter and read it. In the letter, Duke Qiju had written, my dear daughter, your ninth uncle is coming to the capital from Weizhou today. Remember to go and pay him a visit then. After reading it, Qi Jiao was confused. Ninth uncle. At this moment, another servant ran in, reporting to your highness, Prince Zhao Shen has arrived. Xiao Quan then led Qi Jiao to the courtyard to receive him. As soon as Xiao Lanqing saw the two of them, he immediately stood up and said, I came without prior notice. I hope nephew Quan is not bothered. Xiao Quan came forward and asked, royal uncle is being too formal. I wonder what brings you here this time. Qi Jiao glanced at Wang Nanzhou beside him. Actually, the main reason for coming this time is to ask my niece-in-law to help me find someone. Qi Jiao turned to look at her and asked, find someone? Oh, is ninth royal uncle looking for Wang Mingyi? Xiao Lanqing nodded. I knew this matter wouldn't be difficult for my niece-in-law. Qi Jiao saw Wang Mingyi crying and muttering, save her, I beg you to save my younger sister. I beg you, Miss Chi. She thought. He came along with them. How could I not know? Wang Nanzhou looked up, her face showing clear suspicion as she asked, does the princess consort really understand this matter? Qi Jiao replied, if you don't believe me, I'll have your brother explain it to you himself. Wang Nanzhou was stunned. How can he explain it himself? Qi Jiao raised her hand and said, that would be through possession, of course. Immediately after, Wang Mingyi's soul entered her body. Wang Nanzhou held her breath, waiting for the result. Suddenly, she heard a voice call out, Ashwan. Hearing this pet name, Wang Nanzhou was startled and asked, brother, this is a pet name only my brother would know. Are you really my brother? Wang Mingyi, in Qi Jiao's body, ran over and said, it's me. Ashwan, there isn't much time. Listen carefully to what I have to say. You were deceived by Zhao Lianhou. That year, after consort Chu Han died from the poison, he was the one who insisted that there was a problem with my medicine, framing this subject for poisoning the princess consort. He recalled that day when he knelt in the middle of the Great Hall, and Zhao Lianhou reported to the late emperor. It must have been Wang Mingyi who tampered with the medicine. He continued, not only that, it was also Zhao Lianhou who hid the Tai Hei Tang in my room to frame me. That's how I was identified as the culprit. When you were killing people for Zhao Lianhou, I could only watch from the side. I couldn't stop you, and I had no way to tell you the truth. Wang Mingyi cried as he hugged his sister. After hearing the whole story, Wang Nanzhou cried and said, brother, Nanzhou is sorry. I couldn't avenge you. Wang Mingyi pushed his sister away and said, no, I don't need you to avenge me. I just want you to live a peaceful and stable life. Because only if Ashwan is safe can I leave with peace of mind. After speaking, Wang Mingyi's soul gradually faded away. Seeing this, Wang Nanzhou cried out, no, brother. Seeing that Wang Mingyi's soul had completely disappeared, Wang Nanzhou cried out in anguish, brother. After Wang Mingyi's soul left Qi Jiao's body, she clutched her head, feeling dizzy. Xiao Quan quickly ran over to support her. Jiao, are you all right? Wang Nanzhou also ran over worriedly. Princess consort. Qi Jiao reached out her hand and said, Nanzhou, don't cry. Your brother's wish has been fulfilled. He has gone to be reincarnated. Wang Nanzhou knelt down and bowed. For the princess consort's great kindness, Nanzhou doesn't know how to repay you. Qi Jiao waved her hand. It's nothing. It's just a small matter. Just then, Xiao Quan pulled her into his arms and ordered, from now on, you are not allowed to let souls possess your body at will. Qi Jiao looked up in confusion. Why? Xiao Quan held her tightly and said, no, why? This is this prince's command. Hearing this, Qi Jiao thought to herself, wait, could this Xiao Quan guy be worried about me? The group of four, Xiao Quan, Qi Jiao, Xiao Lansheng, and Wang Nanzhou, went into Xiao Quan's study. Wang Nanzhou spoke up. Actually, it's very simple to catch Zhao Lianhou. Find a member of the Xiao family to act as bait to lure him out. Qi Jiao asked, but who would be suitable? Wang Nanzhou replied, the sixth princess is young and doesn't know martial arts. She is the most suitable person to be the bait. That's good. Then it's decided that sixth sister will be the bait. Xiao Lansheng was worried, but Zhin'er doesn't know the details. I'm afraid it will be dangerous. Xiao Quan reassured him. This prince will dispatch young General Chu to protect sixth sister in secret. Ninth royal uncle need not worry. Xiao Lansheng nodded. S. own nephew, Quan already has a plan. Then let's do it that way. After hearing them talk, Qi Jiao thought, this is truly a brilliant plan. It will let sixth younger sister and her future brother-in-law cultivate their feelings. After hearing them, Wang Nanzhou said, all right then, I will leak the sixth princess's intention to leave the palace in a carrier pigeon message to lure Zhao Lianhou out. The rest will be left to the Prince Regent and Prince Zhao Shun. Afterwards, Wang Nanzhou wrote a letter and sent it to Zhao Lianhou. After reading the letter, he smiled and said, oh, interesting. The next day, Qi Jiao took Xiao Zhan to a restaurant. Xiao Zhan asked worriedly, sister-in-law, do you really think I can lure out Zhao Lianhou? I'm a little scared. She waved her hand and said, don't worry. Nanzhou and Chu Fengxian are both secretly protecting you. Nothing will happen. At this moment, a waiter came over and asked, what would you two ladies like to eat? She asked him, do you have any specialties here? The waiter immediately replied, special? Then it must be our Tianxiang Pavilion's most famous dish, the secret recipe Yuanyang hot pot with dipped meat. Qi Jiao was surprised. You have yuanyang pots now. After looking at the drawing, Xiao Zhan's eyes lit up and she said, Sister-in-law, I want to eat yuanyang hot pot. After the dish was brought out, the aroma wafted everywhere. Qi Jiao looked at the hot pot, drooling. She never thought she'd be able to eat hot pot one day. This is too blissful. Xiao Zhan beside her also praised effusively, it smells so good. Suddenly, a loud bang was heard. Nie Xiaoming suddenly appeared, drooling, and said, it smells so good. Qi Jiao was shocked. Nie Xiaoming. Nie Xiaoming came to her side and said, Sister Jiao, so you're eating mutton? Her stomach rumbled. I want to eat. Qi Jiao gave an awkward laugh and said, sit with us. Xiao Zhan, beside her, asked sister-in-law, who is this? Where did she come from? You know her. Qi Jiao explained, she ran away from home. Actually, she's a fellow countryman. Nie Xiaoming immediately stood up and introduced herself. I am the daughter of Nie Guanyun, the governor of the southern Guangzhou prefecture. Xiao Zhan stood up, crossed her arms, and said, what's there to show off? I'm a princess. Qi Jiao, sitting between them, was confused. Why did you all suddenly stand up? Then, a clattering sound was heard, which caught Nie Xiaoming's attention, and she asked, She waved her hand and said, we'll talk later. I'll handle this. Hearing this, Xiao Zhan asked in confusion, sister-in-law, what is she going to do? Qi Jiao, sitting next to her, broke out in a sweat and replied, I don't know, but I have a bad feeling. As expected, a voice was heard from downstairs. I-O. Qi Jiao pulled Xiao Zhan's hand toward the window and said, come on, let's go see. Xiao Zhan looked down at the scene below and asked in shock, sister-in-law she. Qi Jiao answered, is she faking being hit? At that moment, Nie Xiaoming was lying on the road, pretending to have been hit, crying pitifully that a carriage hit someone. My leg is broken. Pay up. After getting the money, Nie Xiaoming returned to the tavern. All right, mission accomplished. Xiao Zhan scolded. Aren't you just a fraudster? Nie Xiaoming retorted, so what? How else am I supposed to get money to eat? Once the turmoil of Prince Zhao Shun choosing a consort is over, I will definitely pay them back. Hearing this, Xiao Zhan stammered, well, you'd better remember that. In short, scamming money is not good. Qi Jiao quickly stepped in to mediate. Be good. Don't argue anymore. Nie Xiaoming continuously stuffed buns into her bag, nodding. Okay, I get it. Seeing that it was getting dark, Nie Xiaoming climbed onto the windowsill and said, it's getting late. I should go now. Goodbye, Sister Jiao. Goodbye, Sixth Princess. Right after that, Nie Xiaoming jumped down from the upper floor. Seeing this, Xiao Zhan said angrily, sister-in-law, look at her. Qi Jiao gave a forced smile. Sixth sister, we should be heading back too. You go wait for me in the carriage. I'll pay the bill, and then we'll leave. After paying the bill, Qi Jiao walked to the door and asked Sixth sister, strange, where is she? She didn't notice a person in black hiding behind the door. Waiting for an opportunity, while she wasn't paying attention, he moved forward and knocked her unconscious. After a while, Qi Jiao woke up, slowly opening her eyes and wondering, where is this? Have I been kidnapped again? The sixth sister has also been captured. Both she and Xiao Zhan were captured and tied up. She called out to the girl in a low voice. Wake up. Just then, Marquis Zhao Lian appeared and said, I didn't expect you to wake up so quickly. Qi Jiao thought in shock. Could he be Marquis Zhao Lian? It seems Nanzhou's plan succeeded. He was indeed lured out. She looked up. What do you want? I don't know you. Why did you capture me? Marquis Zhao Lian approached and asked, Princess Consort, no need to feign ignorance. Weren't you trying to lure Zhao Wu out? Qi Jiao worriedly thought to herself, I'm doomed. He knows about the plan. What should I do? Marquis Zhao Lian massaged his wrist, approached, and said, since Xiao Quan wants to see me, I'll bring him the princess consort's head. He came forward and grabbed her neck tightly, making her startle and cry out. He gave a perverse smile and continued, let's go meet him then. Just as Marquis Zhao Lian was about to strike Qi Jiao, Xiao Quan burst in, shouting, let her go. Then, a series of needles flew towards him. Seeing this, he was startled and quickly let go of Qi Jiao. You people. Qi Jiao coughed dryly and immediately ran to Xiao Quan. You're finally here. Quickly, save the sixth sister. Marquis Zhao Lian gritted his teeth. Nanzhou, you really did betray me. Wang Nanzhou held a needle and questioned. You killed my older brother and deceived me. How dare you say I betrayed you? Today, I must avenge my brother. He laughed coldly. I saw through your conspiracy long ago. Naturally, I've made all the preparations. But Xiao Quan, You only brought a few people to capture me. Isn't that a bit too careless? Man. As soon as he finished speaking, Chu Fengxian walked in and said, Lord Zhao, are you calling them? He was already holding the sixth princess, Xiao Zhen, while Marquis Zhao Lian's men were thrown to the ground, crying out, my lord. Seeing this, Marquis Zhao Lian was stunned. How is this possible? Chu Fengxian said in a stern voice, no need to shout. The dozens of men you had in ambush outside have been executed. On the spot, Xiao Quan also drew his sword, pointed it at his throat, and questioned, speak, where is the crown prince? Marquis Zhao Lian laughed and replied, even if you kill me, I won't tell you. Xiao Quan nodded, fine. Lord Zhao isn't afraid, even when facing death, still so stubborn. Men, escort Lord Zhao back to the capital to await trial. He sheathed his sword, and the servants immediately rushed forward, responding yes. On the way back, Xiao Quan asked Shi Jiao, Princess Consort, aren't you going to explain to this prince? Why didn't you follow the plan? She replied, isn't this what they call man proposes, God disposes? Who knew I'd get caught, right after eating hot pot? Xiao Quan pushed her against a wall and said in a cold voice, if this prince had been one step later, you would be a dead person. Seeing his anger, Shi Jiao quickly grabbed his hand. Isn't it fine now? Besides, Lord Zhao has been captured. The plan was a great success. He hugged her tightly. If you dare to act on your own again, this prince will not forgive you. In his arms, she thought to herself, although he says that every time, he's actually very worried about me. Seeing him lead her to an unfamiliar place, she asked worriedly, Xiao Quan, where are we going? Aren't we going back to the residence? He replied nonchalantly, you'll know soon enough. Qi Jiao looked at the scene before her in astonishment. Did you prepare this? We captured Marquis Zhao Lian this time. Jiaoer, you've worked hard. Come on, I have a surprise for you. Qi Jiao looked around and exclaimed, look, they're Kongming lanterns. Xiao Quan waved her over. Don't get too close to the water. Qi Jiao looked down at the lake and was even more surprised. There are water lanterns too. She turned back and said happily to him, Xiao Quan, thank you. I love it. On the other side, seeing that his princess consort liked it, Bai Lin breathed a sigh of relief. Mobilizing so many people from the prince's residence, we finally finished releasing the lanterns. Jixia cupped her face and sighed. It's so beautiful. I hope the master likes what his highness prepared. Another servant came over and said, Miss Jixia, rest assured, with his highness being so sincere, the princess consort will definitely be overjoyed and moved. Jixia asked, and you are? The young man replied, I'm Qin Xiaodang from the kitchen. The shredded potatoes that his highness likes best are made by me. Hearing this, Jixia exclaimed, so, it's you. Your skills are truly amazing. Qin Xiaodang blushed and said, Miss Jixia, you flatter me. Just then, Nie Xiaoming walked by and asked, strange, why is everyone here releasing lanterns today? Isn't that Sister Jiao over there? Sister Jiao. Just as Nie Xiaoming was about to shout for Qi Jiao, her mouth was covered. Bai Lin gestured to her, Shh, my master and mistress are having a moment. Don't disturb them. She angrily bit Bai Lin's hand. Make Bai Lin angry, why? Why would you bite someone? Nie Xiaoming said angrily, I'm Sister Jiao's friend. You bullied me. I'll tell on you to her tomorrow. Bai Lin placated her. All right, my mistake. Out of respect for the princess consort, tell me where you live and I'll take you home. Nie Xiaoming turned away angrily and said, in your dreams. But I want you to take me home. Bai Lin chased after her, asking, then what do you want? Nie Xiaoming thought for a moment and said, treat me to a drink. Inside the tavern, both Bai Lin and Nie Xiaoming were dead drunk. Nie Xiaoming said, your alcohol tolerance is even worse than mine. Bai Lin, lying on the bed, immediately reacted, you dare doubt my tolerance? Help me up, I can still drink. Nie Xiaoming reached out, covered Bai Lin's mouth, and said, all right, be quiet. I'm sleepy. I'm going to sleep. With that, Nie Xiaoming lay down on top of Bai Lin, and they both fell asleep. The next day when they woke up, a scream immediately rang out. Bai Lin pulled his legs in and curled up on one side. Nie Xiaoming woke up, rubbed her eyes, and yelled, what's with all the noise? Nothing happened between us last night. But Bai Lin thought worriedly, an unmarried man and woman in the same room. If word gets out, her reputation will be ruined. Therefore, Bai Lin spoke up, Miss Nie, although nothing happened last night, I think I must take responsibility for you. Nie Xiaoming came over and touched Bai Lin's forehead. Responsibility? What responsibility? Do you have a fever? Why is your face so red? Bai Lin quickly jumped off the bed, stammering, no fever. Bai Mao will take his leave. Miss Nie, take care. Bai Lin jumped onto the windowsill intending to climb down. Seeing this, Nia Xiaoming quickly shouted, "Wait, don't jump from the window, that's..." Before she could finish, Bai Lin had already fallen flat on his face on the street below. Nia Xiaoming broke out in a sweat and said, "This is the 4th floor." Inside Liu Pavilion, Qi Jiao sat before the mirror, thinking to herself, "I can't believe Xiao Quan gave me a gift." She recalled yesterday when he put a hairpin on her hair and said, "It suits you very well." Qi Jiao looked at the hairpin in her hand. "But if Xiao Quan keeps treating me this well, I won't have the heart to leave." Just then, the door to the room opened. Ji Xiao walked inside and called out, "Master, young Master Lian Wan is here. He is waiting for you in the front hall." Hearing this, Qi Jiao was startled and asked, "Lian Wan?" She broke out in a sweat. "Oh no, how could I have forgotten about Qi Jiao's uncle coming to the capital?" She walked to the front hall. As soon as the maid saw her, she immediately bowed. "Princess consort, please." As she walked, she prayed in her heart, "Heavens, please, please don't let him bring up the past with me. If I get exposed, it will be a disaster." As soon as she stepped inside, Lian Wan bowed. Lian Wan pays his respects to the princess consort. Qi Jiao went to help Lian Wan up. "Uncle, there's no need for formalities. Please get up quickly. I heard from father long ago that you were coming to the capital. I was planning to visit, but you came first." Lian Wan looked at her, stunned, and exclaimed, "After a few years of not seeing you, Qi Jiao has grown up quite a bit. You're much more obedient than when you were a child. I wonder if A Jiao has received any news from her master in recent years." Qi Jiao was startled and thought, "Master? Could it be the one Nia Xiaoming mentioned?" She scratched her head and said, "Ah, I've heard. Master, that old man, he is living very well on Suifeng Mountain." Xiao Quan put down his teacup and said, "Suifeng Mountain?" This prince didn't know Jiao had a master. Lian Wan bowed. "Your Highness, A Jiao was frail since she was young. It was that great master who treated her, which is why she took him as her master. Back then, A Jiao caused a lot of trouble, giving my brother-in-law headaches every few days." Hearing this, Qi Jiao broke out in a sweat, thinking to herself, "So the original owner of this body was so frail. No wonder she didn't dare to run away from home." Qi Jiao turned and said with a smile, "Uncle, those things are all in the past. I'm not like that anymore." Lian Wan replied, "That's right. A Jiao has become much tougher. You used to call your uncle by his full name." Hearing this, Qi Jiao's heart skipped a beat as she thought, "I'm doomed." She quickly